I believe we're live. I cannot find a spot for my phone because it is that big of a mess in here right now. Let's see. I'll wait till I start rambling too much. Make sure we've got audio. It looks like audio is good. I may have to take, if I have a bunch of stuff coming today, so if it gets dropped off at my front porch, I need to run out and grab that. So I'd be bringing you with me because we've got the wireless mic now, and when I tested it, it does reach to the front of the house. But that might happen. We might have a quick 30-second break coming up here. We'll see. Paul said, how do you stretch your watercolor paper? Do you soak it first or do you just spray it with water? I don't do either, honestly. The paper I use doesn't, because I tape it down, it dries back flat generally. If I were to stretch it, I would just spray it with water. There's so many methods, honestly, and it'll kind of vary from paper to paper because one method may work great for one paper, one may not. So there's a ton of methods. I honestly don't, though. I'm very, very lazy. I don't do a lot of prep work for my stuff. So because I tape, well, you can't see on this one, but I tape my work, not that this is watercolor paper, but I tape it down. And so when it stretches, because I use the hairdryer, it will dry it back into shape. If it's a good hot press watercolor paper, like with the Arches, it does it. Fabriano used to, much less so now. So that one, maybe if I actually stretched it, it wouldn't be as bad. But yeah, that is, I don't know how, that's not helpful at all. So today we are working in colored pencil. I'm primarily going to be using my Light Fast pencils just because this one's purple and the Derwent Light Fast has a ton of really good purples. I've got some of my Caran d'Ache Luminance. I've got some Polychromos and Derwent Drawing Chinese White also pulled out. So use whatever you have. It's honestly not that big of a deal what colors you're using. The main thing you want to focus on, make sure your darks are dark enough, your lights are light enough. Before we get going too far into this, I do want to throw out there, if we talk, this is an art chat. I'm going to be chatting with you guys about, before we used to say it was just an art chat. Now really it's just a chat. We just talk. I hang out. This is like my time. I get to hang out with you guys and talk about whatever. So if you're just looking for a straightforward tutorial, straightforward art lessons, you're going to want to check out patreon.com/Lachri. That is where my just straight lessons are with none of my rambling about, hanging out with you guys and chatting. So just so you guys are aware. Also, we have the merch, which I don't think I've got pinned today for some reason. Why is that not pinned? It should be pinned. I can promote. Okay, yes, this pin merch. That should have worked. But we've got the merch now. The words are hard. And what was the other one? I may regret this. Let's find out. Those are in the merch store now. That is one of the things I'm actually waiting for and all excited. If it gets here, I kind of hope now that it does come while you guys are here because I can show you what I got. So there you go. TK said, is this just a practice piece with this new paper or are the grapes and flowers part of the bigger piece? This just has samples on it. I mean, I only used a tiny bit with the grapes. There you go. The grapes from last week. So there was no real reason for me to, I had all that blank portion of the paper. I may give this to somebody as just kind of a collage of different things. Heck, maybe I'll fill in everything eventually and just keep working on this same piece. No reason I can't. I'm going to be using a lot of those same colors. Some of the violets I'll pull into this one so it has that kind of flowiness. Actually, now that I think about it, a light blue from we'll go with the Caran d'Ache on that would be a pretty thing to include on parts of this. Okay, we'll grab those pencils too. Okay, let's see. Kimberly said, I have bought the Permalba Original White and Black. How do I start with this? I'm not sure I need more. What do you mean start with what? Like just painting in oils or that's such a broad question. I wouldn't even know where to begin on that one. I'm definitely going to need a bit more information to help you out with that. Let's see. Erica said, would love a video of your pets. How are the new baby frogs and your husband's new ring neck? Everybody is doing good. The video I'll be making on Sunday, I'll probably include probably be the red-eyed tree frogs. They're actually asleep behind me there. I don't know if you can see the vivarium. The round one has my dart frog in it. He's been chirping most of the morning. He's quiet right now. I'm sure he'll start up again and we can listen to him during the stream. He's the cutest chirp. He kind of reminds me of having a canary where you get to listen to him sing all the time. I absolutely love it. So I'm just blocking the paper with some glassine so that I can rest my hand right on that without getting the oils from my skin on my previous work or smudging anything or, any of that bad stuff. We'll keep that nice and archival. But yeah, for the pets, I'm definitely going to be including them in a lot of videos. I mean, the frogs are a part of the studio at the, well, especially the dart frog, but the tree frogs will move into another room. But yes, that we'll be having, yes. Let's see. Susie said, how are the baby frogs? They're doing good. And I'm so tired today. I took way too much, well, not too much, the amount you're supposed to, but ibuprofen for allergy headaches this time of year always gets me. And so I'm really tired. Way too much I had extra coffee. I'm on number 3. I should only have 1. So, but I kept waking up in the night and coming in to check on, aka watch them because they're flipping adorable. They're so tiny right now, but watching them eat and move around, and yeah, I'm really tired. So between the ibuprofen and my obsession with waking up and looking at, because they're nocturnal, yeah, this will be interesting to see if I can get through today. I'm so taking a nap when we're done with this. Let's see. Beak said, what are drawing board surface best for mixed media Strathmore paper using color pencil Polychromos? I don't know what you mean. Drawing board, it's just a typical draft, like a drawing board. I don't know that you have that many options. I have 2 different types. One's a wood kind of, it's not even straight wood, but it's like a particle board type pressed. It's almost like a really, really, really hard cardboard. That is what I'm using today. I've used the big pieces of, like, anything you buy for a drawing board works. I have no preference other than it needs to be the size I need. Like, there's no, as much drawing and as many colored pencil pieces and graphite as I've done, I have zero preference. If it is sold for art as a drawing board, I've never had one not work for me. So you're good no matter what you get. There's no like, this is the one you should get. Nick said, Leo's hoodie is on its way. Nice. I'm so excited. I'm having more fun with this Teespring stuff. I want to order one for my mom. I want to order more for me. I need to make it more designs because I think like half my wardrobe is going to end up being my merch, which is, I better make it cute. Otherwise it just seems narcissistic. Like it needs more zombie snails for sure. Not just my name on it. Angelique said, hold on, let me get rid of the spam call because that is going to, no, UCLA. Yeah, UCLA is calling me. Why would you? Spam calls have been absolutely horrible lately. Let's see. Sorry, Angelique said, I love you, Lisa. Oh, thank you. How are you doing? Do you ever get to listen to Zombie Fallout? Oh my gosh. That book was so good, and I need to get the second ones because it was really, really like that. Actually, I may order that tonight because I have to. I'm ready to start a new book. But oh, that was a fun, like, narration was excellent. Everything about that book was so enjoyable. So yes, I loved it. Julie said, hi, Lisa. Hope you and all the animals are well. Love the pictures of the red-eyed tree frogs. So cute. Thanks. I'm sure I'm going to spam you guys with a lot more of those. The cool thing with the red-eyed tree frogs versus I'm going to get caught up on questions and we'll get started on the art. But the cool thing with the red-eyed tree frogs versus like the dart frogs, I can't get a photo of my dart frog. He teleports. He sees me and he's like, nope. That's what I should have named him, was Nope. Actually, I have a fish I call the Nope fish because he does the same, little firefish. But with the dart frog, they teleport. Like they're there and then they're not there. I get to listen to him all day. So that's like where my main enjoyment comes from with him. I don't see him very often. I need to get him a girlfriend. Maybe he'll be more brave. Maybe he'll want to like show off for her and like, look, I'm braving the human. Or maybe when I finish the new tank, which I am working on. The last part was supposed to be that I needed to redo that tank was supposed to be here yesterday. It didn't get here. Now it's not supposed to be there till tomorrow, although I'm hoping for today. We'll see. But I've gotten some of the other parts. It's all over. My studio is a mess right now with stuff to better set up the frogs. But anyway, once that tank is redone, it has more hiding places than the bioorb, so that may make the dart frog more comfortable to let him like come out so I can photograph him. But with the tree frogs, they are not afraid of people. Like they give no cares. They're like, oh, you're going to feed me, or like, here, let me pose for you on the glass. Like they're so not afraid of people. So that's a really cool thing. And especially them because they're captive bred. So they've always been around them anyway. Well, so is my dart frog, but yeah, they're really, I will be spamming you with photos forever now. I'm also super excited. You know what, maybe I will chat or start this as I chat, or at least sharpen my pencils. I'm really excited because I was watching a video from the Bio Dude, which is definitely a channel I would recommend. Most channels that I've found, where's my stuff for the sharpening? I'm missing something. sharpen my pencils into. But most of the videos that I found for red-eyed tree frogs were by people who did zero research. They should not, like, I question their choice to own, where did I put that? To own frogs. So that's a little bit disturbing to me. That they're teaching people, here, this is how you set up their tank. And it's like, no, it is not. Okay, I'll keep chatting with you about this while I go into the other room, because I think I left my, oh no, here it is. I need my shavings thing. So I'm telling you, seriously, I'm so half asleep right now. But most of the videos I found on YouTube are just so full of misinformation and like partial truths and things that I'm like, that's not. As soon as you see somebody, by the way, go into the tree frog tank and pick up the frog with their bare hands, I'm like, it's not a good idea. You're not, I'm not listening to anything you say now. But I mean, there's very little good information. But the bio dude is one. He had a really good one, and I was watching his. So most of the information I found say that they live in the wild for up to 5 years on average, and in captivity they've been known to live 8 to 10 years sometimes, but five is more common. Well, this guy has one that's 16 years old, and I'm like, that's really encouraging to me. My White's tree frog that I had years ago, this is not the right sharpener, I am a mess right now, but the White's tree frog that I had from years ago, I got him in, I think, 1995, 96, right around there. He lived for 12 years. So I'm really hoping to keep these guys going well. And it was interesting listening to him talk about it. Like, he deworms his just annually. That's just what he does. And I want to look more into that and see if that may be one of the things that is making a difference. I did get a microscope. It's on my floor. Everything is on my floor right now. But I got a microscope so I can do fecal tests on them to see for parasites. I'm wondering if that may be the thing that is cutting the lifespan shorter on some people's frogs. Although seeing the videos people are making on how they're caring for them, I'm like, oh, well, I mean, it may just be that you don't know how to. So, yeah, anyway, random rant, but I was really excited to hear that that guy had a 16. That is, and obviously he's doing the absolute best care possible for those frogs, but it's really cool. Very encouraging, because I want them to live a really long time. Let's see. I'm just sitting here sharpening my pencils, by the way. Where are we? Gypsy Heart said, they finally got the bogus charges on the credit card situation fixed, so yay, back to Patreon. Made my day much happier. Oh, God, credit card. That stuff is so frustrating. I had a thing years ago. I was with Wells Fargo, and I canceled with Wells Fargo after this. Somebody was going to 7-Elevens, but it was all kind of it was in Southern California, and they were all kind of close. I guess close enough, but then somewhere on the East Coast, so it wasn't all there. But that they were going and pulling out like the max, which was like $500, all at the same time. And so we had like, I don't even think we had $500 in our account. Like, we were so broke at the time. This wasn't something like, oh, it's okay, we could get by until Wells Fargo clears it up. It was like, and now I can't pay bills. Wells Fargo then wouldn't let me cash my check because there was a flag on my account once I turned it in. They were trying to claim, or they accused us of doing it in line. And then, like, they treated us so badly, and I'm like, it was just, there was so much proof that it wasn't us, and they proved that it wasn't us. But the way they treated us in the process, man, that was a stressful time. I'm so sorry you've been having to deal with that. And I will never deal with Wells Fargo again because of how they handled it. I've been with Chase since, and no, well, actually not since, but for many years now. And they, like, when we've had things come up on our account, there was like random Nike charges. I don't wear Nike. Like, I don't even think I own anything of Nike. So that was kind of weird. And they contacted me. They're like, hey, did you buy this? I'm like, no. So that one and another charge had gone. They fixed it without me having to like call, unlike Wells Fargo, who treated me like I was a freaking criminal. So random. But anyway, point is, yay, I'm glad it's fixed. I'm sorry for that stress because I know how much that sucks. Sergio said, good to see you, Lisa. Wade's ears are doing funny stuff, by the way. Would really love to see you doing a portrait on the Lux archival paper in the near future. Any chance for that? Yes, I need to. I really do need to. But yeah, he's got a dingo. Let's see. One said, can I do it with Prismacolors? Or I can do it with this with Prismacolor. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to butcher your name again. I'm sorry. Let's see. Aishwarya. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm bad at names. Said, hi Lisa, it's past midnight in India. Oh my gosh, you're up late. Please schedule these so we can join in too. But otherwise, have a great show and great day. Yeah, I can't, no matter when I have these, it's going to be inconvenient. So that sucks. And I wish I could make it all the same for everybody, but so yeah, I rotate between Wednesday night, and for me, it's Wednesday night and then in the daytime to try to get more. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's see. I'm going to try to get through some of these questions really quick. Jason said, Lisa, are we going to hear swearing husband today? Possibly. Well, no, probably not, because he has to get up for a meeting in like 45 minutes, but usually he doesn't talk through those. I'm pretty sure he falls asleep during those because this is the middle of his night. He should be asleep till 4. So, yeah, I don't think we'll hear it today. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm way behind on chats. Let me try to get through these really quickly, and then we will start. Daniela said, hi, I'm new to colored pencil and not loving how long the background takes. What pastels do you recommend using with Polychromos colored pencils that would be archival? Hands down, like without a doubt, Pan Pastels. Oh, they're amazing. Look into those. Kimberly said, how much paint should I use since it's pigmented? Any estimates, please? It's the Permalba paints. Put down a tiny dot, like the smallest amount you can get out of the tube, and that's going to go a long ways for you. I mean, you're going to thin it with your liquid or your mixing medium, but it takes such a small amount, so not very much at all. It's amazing. The smallest amount that can come out of the tube is probably still too much. Let's see. Jason said, so all we have to send you is some baby frogs and you are happy? No more baby frogs. I'm done. I don't want too many baby frogs. I'm already too obsessed over these ones. Kimberly said, so I was watching your previous live streams and you seem to not like Kristen Stewart. Love her though. Or I love her though. Oh, I'm sorry for your really poor taste and judgment with acting skills. I apologize that you have to suffer that. I'm a jerk. Let's see. Are we, okay. Angelique said, sometimes when someone asked if I heard SU, I think I'm missing something there. Veek said, I was wondering if I could get a smooth enough surface from Home Depot, or should I go to an art store? Home Depot is half the price, but not guaranteed to work. What are you trying to buy? Whatever it is, you probably don't want it from Home Depot if it's an art supply. You're going to want, let's see, what do I want for a base layer? I'm going to start with Heather. Looks like a good color. I'm not sure what you're trying to buy, but I have learned the hard way. You do not want to buy stuff from Home Depot for your art supplies. I may have missed part of that conversation, so I'm not sure what it is. The chat jumps and I don't always see everything, so I apologize. There's hair stuck in my face. Let's see. Kimberly said, you should tailor Nicole Dean's channel. She has Red Eye Tree Frog. Just look past the problematic side of that channel. See, and that would be an example of somebody. Now, I don't know how she took care of her frogs, but I know she had some serious problems, and there were a lot of accusations of neglect and hoarding, in which case I'm going to assume her frogs were not long-term properly taken care of. So sometimes people will get them and they'll start out doing good, and then it's like, you never see about that pet again because they did not take care of it properly. So I don't know with her specifically, and I don't know with her problems if she got that taken care of, but I think I would rather not see how somebody who is... See, and I say an accused hoarder because I don't know her exact situation. Like I shouldn't act like I know hers. I just know some of what, and it wasn't good. So yeah, it's really disturbing. I mean, I watched one guy. He did a video. I may have talked about this on Wednesday. His came up, and he was more worried about doing booty shots, and I was just like, seriously, dude? Like, you're telling people how to set up a frog thing, but you're more worried about including your butt in the thing and making, I mean, I get that he's trying to be funny, so okay. But it was like the tips that he was given and how he showed you, every single thing he set up in that tank was wrong. He went to Home Depot, he used regular garden soil, which is not treated for this, it hasn't heat in it. Like, there are things you have to do to make sure it's safe for the frogs. Every single thing he did in this, like, you did zero research. And it really pisses me off when people go out and get animals when they don't do any research. Now, I mean, I get it. And I think especially in the 90s, we would do that. We would do the impulse buy. My White's tree frog was an impulse. I worked at a pet store though, so I had people guiding me through even though he was an impulse buy. But I mean, there's so much easy information now. And when you see these people go out and do things and the whole time you're watching this going, you're going to kill that frog or whatever animal it is. Like, it is not that hard to look up information on how to properly care for these animals. Now, I'm not saying everyone needs as an elaborate of a setup as I've done with, you know, getting the thing so I can do fecal tests, getting the doing a quarantine. I've gone, I definitely lean towards the extreme on trying to do it right, or what I feel is right. And take as many precautions as possible with my animals. But I mean, heck, I feed my dogs a raw diet, which is ridiculously, like, I could have my own car. We have one car. I don't drive, but I could buy another car with the amount of money I spend. I could buy a nice car with the amount of money I spend every month on my dog's food. I'm that extreme on, like, being paranoid on wanting everything taken care of really, you know, well. So I get that I'm extreme in that, but when you see these people making these videos telling people, oh, this is how you take care of this animal, and it's like, no, it is not. Please stop. If you're going to be irresponsible yourself, fine, keep it to yourself. Please don't tell other people how to also be irresponsible. That is just, it drives me insane, because, like, with plants, fine, give bad, it's a plant, whatever. But animals, that you're causing an animal to suffer because of your being irresponsible. And I mean, it's on the viewer to do the research to find out if that person is responsible enough to listen to. But it's like, I don't know, I think that there needs to be more. I don't know how you do that, but the YouTubers themselves, because they're teaching people how to poorly take care of them, which is really frustrating, because a quick Google search and you're like, oh, none of that was done right. Sorry, random rant. Let's see. Susie said, hi, Lisa. Is there a way to create smoother surface for a rough toothed canvas? Hope this makes sense. Didn't sleep well last night either. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have baby frogs to watch? Yes, there is. What I do on a canvas that has too much tooth, so, like, I love you can actually see that round canvas back there. That one is a Frederick's Convexo canvas, and it has a lot of tooth to it. It's a real heavy duty canvas. I love the shape, but I want it smoother. So what I do is put 3 coats of gesso, 2 to 3, usually 3, let it dry completely in between each coat of gesso, and then I take a 220 grit, I think it's 220 grit sandpaper, and I lightly just sand it down till it's all smooth, and now I've got the shape I want, but nice and smooth. Angelique said, sorry, I posted on its own. When someone asks me if I heard what they say, I'll say, don't you know how crotchety sounding Kit Kat bars are? That's Tommy's version of no. What? That is so random. Priscilla said, hi, Lisa. I was wondering if you know of a brand of paper I could get for colored pencil piece that has a large piece, like 34 by 22. I don't know. Check Blick. Look at dickblick.com. You're probably going to have, if not there, check Jerry's Artorama. Those would be, I think, your 2 easiest places to potentially get it. I'm not sure. If you can't get from them, you might contact, like, Fabriano, or I'm trying to think who you could actually, like, Canson, maybe. Contact the company directly and ask them if they can refer you to somebody that would have bigger versions of their paper. Let's see. The frogs, Sheila, are posted over on Instagram, and then some on my personal Facebook, but my personal Facebook is public, so you can see them there too. I've been posting probably more there. I don't want to spam too much. It's my Instagram story is where I've been posting the frogs. I need to post some more. Let's see. Where were we? That it jumped, so I've got to scroll way back up. Stop chewing. No one wants to see you chew your butt. I certainly don't want to listen to it. One said, what tones of colors are we using? I have Prismacolor. You just pick whatever purples and pinks you have available. You do not, this is true no matter what I'm working in, you do not need the same colors as me. Don't get worked up on needing this. Like, the colors are just, I have something drawn wrong here. Whatever, this is what it's going to be. I'm turning you into a petal. You just don't need the same colors. You want to focus on getting your darks dark, and if your light's light enough, the color itself, really not a big deal. What the heck have I done? You were supposed to be here. You were here. Oh, you were supposed to be open. Whatever. I'm making my flower petal a little bit wider. But don't worry. I can't tell you in Prismacolor what tones they were because I'm not using Prismacolors. So just grab colors that you think are pretty shades of purples and pinks and go with those. Some violet colors. Joseph said, kind of odd the criminal's treating you like criminal, huh? What were we talking about? I don't remember what we were talking. Was it the people taking too many or bringing in too many animals? Is that what it was from? I don't know, Joseph. See, I'm so tired. I can't even remember like what part of the conversation would have been from. Gypsy Heart said, "I know you'll probably want to keep them all to yourself because they are amazing, but the recent photos of Ben and Chicken on Instagram would make awesome reference photos for Patreon." Oh, Ben and Chicken. I'm used to seeing Chicken and Nugget, not Ben, because Beta. Yes, no, actually, I need to get better photos of both of them. Those were all just taken with my cell phone, so I need to take, Ben is fast. Oh my gosh, turns out with betas, when they don't have ridiculous tail fins holding them down, like swimming like a bedsheet, they are zippy little boogers. He is so fast. He has so much, betas in general have a lot of personality. I love that fish though. But yeah, I need to get some good photos. I need to get good photos of all the birds. Nugget's going to be hard too, because Nugget's the same way. Our parrotlet is just super fast. Cletus was just chirping. Let's see. Sergio said, one of the reasons I asked for the portrait is that it gives you a chance to test the new 24 luminance that included in the portrait set week. I need to get those. I still haven't bought them. I need to. Daniela said, Pan Pastels, got it. Any specific brand new to Pastels? Pan Pastels are their own brand. They're like these little, I it'd be a pain to get out, but these little pans, they kind of look like giant eyeshadow tint, like it looks almost like makeup, but you use those with, you're going to want to get some, excuse me, as I burp on the thing. I am a classy lady. Get some soft tools, SOFFT tools, and that's what you're going to apply the pastels with. You use it, it's kind of like as a paintbrush, and they're amazing. So make sure you pick up those too. But if you go and look up Lachri and Pan Pastel, I've got videos with links of the stuff that I use that I definitely would recommend. But yeah, Pan Pastels, they're their own brand. I have to say it slow every time. I swore ya. If I say it enough times, it may stick. Said, yeah, you got my name right. I probably just butchered it that time. I did not know you rotate. We'll catch you on the next Wednesday night one then. Okay, have a good night. I'm glad you made it for at least to say hi. Do you hear him? He's so cute. Veek said, just a smooth surface paper for larger sheets of colored pencil drawing. A drawing board, the local store recommended HD for cheaper alternative. Oh, for the drawing board. I wouldn't even then. Maybe. I guess I don't know, because you'd have to make sure the wood isn't treated with something, because if your artwork is on it for any length of time, there can be things in that wood that might cause a problem. So I haven't researched it to know, honestly. But I mean, I guess it could. I don't know how you would want to seal it. I don't know what you need to look for. And the problem is that when you talk to like a Home Depot, I'm going to switch to a darker purple. This one is violet in Polychromos. But when you talk to the Home Depot employees, I've done that where I think I was looking for wood to paint on. This was years and years ago. They had no idea what was treated with what. Like, they could not tell me anything. So that makes it very hard. Like, I don't know how you research it when their own employees are like, I don't know. Oops. Kimberly said, so you don't recommend buying linseed oil at a hardware store? Oh, God, no. I made that mistake once. It's not the same at all, and it ruined so many paintings because I was doing the whole starving artist thing this was like 20 years ago. No, don't do it. It ruined the paintings. Like, and it started out good. They looked good for 6 months, and then it separated, and I had these globs of yellow on the front of the canvas. There was no way to fix it. They were ruined. Everything I painted with linseed oil from the hardware store was ruined. Don't do it. It's not the same stuff. Learn that the hard way. Jason said, can you attach pictures of the frogs on the monthly email? Oh, I probably could. Yeah, I could include cute. I need to get more cute pictures of them, but I could start including them in like kind of the branding of my channel in general. I could. The Purser family said, hi, Lisa, how many critters do you have? Oh, gosh, I don't know. Now I've got the 4 red-eyed tree frogs. I have 1 dart frog. I need to get him a girl, probably a girlfriend and a buddy. So I think I'll get a male and a female, another male and a female. We'll see. But I'm going to move him from that tank into the bigger one. And then I've got the Betta Fish. I've got a nano reef tank it's 13.5 gallons. That's got 2 clownfish and a firefish, the one I call my nope fish. I've got, and then that one has tons. Like, it's a whole little ecosystem with snails and, God, what all is in there? Snails, hermit crabs. Like, there's just a ton of stuff in there. Corals. So I've got that one. I've got the 2 dogs, my 2 greyhounds. My husband has his Indian ringneck. I've got Chicken, my cockatiel. My husband also has his parrotlet. nugget. My husband has a snowmorph hognose, western hognose snake. Is that all we've got? And then I'm getting a larger reef tank, reef aquarium. So we have a lot of pets. We don't have kids and we don't go anywhere. Like our animals are kind of our lives are revolved around our animals. So for the average person, they'd be like, wow, that is way too many animals to take care of. That's what we do. Like we don't go anywhere. We have no social life. We just like to be home by ourselves with our animals. So yeah, that is what we have. But the reef tank, the bigger one that I'll be upgrading, I want to move my clownfish into a bigger tank, and then I'll put some more fish in there. Let's see. It's a whole zoo over here. This just jumped. Susie said, "Hello, my sister and I used to have a betta fish, and every time we went to look at him, he would flare. Unfortunately, my mom fed him again when we went to school too much." Oh, yeah, they get bloat so ridiculously easy. And actually, I think that's what got my last one would eat his own tail. He'd eat the plants in the tank. He'd eat the antenna little guys off the snails. Oh, I also have those snails. I have 3 mystery snails. I think there's still 3 in there. I don't know. But he did some damage. Like I couldn't get him to stop eating, and so I switched him to just bloodworms because the kibble type food, the pebbles, were not working out for him. So yeah, I think that's what happened to him. And that wasn't from overfeeding. That was him overfeeding himself by eating everything that wasn't nailed down in that tank, including his own fins. So it was one of the reasons that I wanted to go with too, because of him eating his own fins like that. I went with Half Moon Plakat this time. So they've got the short tails. They kind of look like female bettas, but they've got the cute short tails. So he's more comfortable and not drawn to eating his own tail. So what I'm doing right now, I want to keep my pencils fairly sharp, and I'm focusing on just getting my general lights and darks blocked in there. I don't care if these lines are exact to the reference photo. They just need to be close, and I need them to go the right direction. And I can always come back and darken things up as needed. This looks way more blue than it does in my thing, but whatever. Jason said, "So is my name still hard to say?" No, but I usually don't know what you're talking about. So there's that. I misunderstand almost everything Jason says. Eldon said, "Lisa, who went?" I don't know what you're talking about. Sergio said, and if you're going into politics, so we don't do that here. Sergio said, "Did you manage to test the Arches paper sheets? If so, do they have a different surface compared to the blocks? Because I tested one and was not impressed with the sheet." I've used them for colored pencil. I've used them for a few things on these live streams. I didn't do anything so elaborate that I noticed a difference. There may be a difference, but it's not big enough that I wouldn't keep buying the individual pads. But keep in mind, I don't think I've done like a full super serious colored pencil piece on the Arches sheets that weren't in the block. But I'd have to do them I should test them side by side, and see if that would make sense. Like same thing on 2 and see if I notice a difference. That would probably be the best way for me to figure it out. Jason said, "Are dart frogs territorial?" Yes, they are, especially the females, I guess, are like humans and they get catty. But they don't, yeah. So I could do like 2 males and a female, but if I did 2 females and no. Coffee is so happy. Of course, that's 3 times as much as I should have in a day, so that should be interesting. Let's see. Yeah, and it depends too, Jason, on the type of dart frog. That can make a difference. I'm going to pull in some of this deeper violet. This one is called Purplish Red. Yeah, that sounds accurate. Let's start pulling some of this in here. I'm just layering this over what I had. I really want to focus on getting those darks dark, keeping those lights where they need to be. Getting that high contrast will make it look more realistic. Then, like, let's say I did it exactly like the reference photo. You can make it look more realistic by hyping up the contrast a little bit. And that's true in most things. If you make your darks a little darker, your lights a little lighter, that can make your work look more realistic than the photograph. I mean, not that it'll get so super, super like photorealistic in a 2-hour live stream where I'm chatting most of the time, but you know, just a tip for you guys who are going to put more time into yours. Marika said, Cletus needs his own mic. You know what? He does. I want to set up a little webcam over there on his tank so I can watch when, you know, he doesn't know I'm watching. Can you guys hear that? God, he's adorable. I love it. You can hear that all through my house too. It is the coolest sound. Way better than chicken screaming his head off. Jason said, you have a zoo. I do. Yeah, the only other animals, we've talked about getting a tarantula. My husband really wants a rose hair tarantula. So if we come across one of those, we may pick that up. And then, of course, the fish tank. But besides that, that should be about it for critters, because you don't want to get so many that you don't enjoy the ones that you have, or you can't take proper care of them. And I think I'm like, I like what I have right now. I had my goals. Like my goal was 2 dogs. I wanted two big dogs. I got that. I wanted the tree frogs. The dart frog was kind of he was not super planned. It was that I got the bio orb that I wanted, but I had all the fungus gnats, and someone suggested maybe put a dart frog in there, which worked out well, but now I love him, so now I want to get him a buddy, and that turned into its whole own thing. But like all my other animals were very, very planned out in what we wanted. No impulse shopping there. Big shadow on this one here. Pull some more purples in there too. So right now I'm just kind of mapping out about where the lights and darks go. Nothing needs to be perfect here. Kimberly said, question, why is using black paint such a controversial topic in the art community? Please elaborate. So black, it's flat. If you use it by itself, it can make your work look very flat. Sometimes that's awesome. Sometimes that's what you want though. And so the people that make it controversial are usually the people who are spending more time arguing over semantics instead of making good artwork. We talked about that last week on the live stream. That's why I don't do art forums anymore. They would rather debate things that don't matter instead of actually creating cool work. So here this one is the Caran d'Ache, not that you need this color, but genuine cobalt blue. So it's a fairly light blue. But yeah, it can make the work look flat. And so a lot of people want to build up purples and reds and blues, and you can get more depth in the blacks that way. The thing is, you don't always want, it depends on what you're doing if you want that. All I care, and each individual artist is going to be different. And that's the other thing that people kind of discount, that using black and everything, and even if it comes out flat, that may be your signature. Who knows? It's art. There's no one right or wrong way. And so when people kind of make it out to be like, this way is the only way to do it, you must do it how I do it, it's like, wow, you're turning art into a religion. Good job. Maybe that's not the best way to go with art. Like, that doesn't make sense. There are no definite rules. There's no, why would you do that? Make it yours. If you like how it looks when you use black, use it. If you don't like how it looks when you use black, don't use it. That's pretty much the end of the discussion. I mean, I don't know why people want to turn it into, you have to do it my way. Like tracing's a big one. That one always comes up. Is it cheating? It's art. Unless you're stealing your work, you're violating someone's copyright. You're not cheating. What? It's so funny how, hold on. Do I need to? Stacy, I'm live streaming. Why are you texting me? Are you responding to? She's not even, Stacy, stop it. But anyway, it's not, I don't worry about what other people think, other than, I talk about it in the videos, but I don't care if somebody doesn't like the way that I do something. If I like how it looks, then that's how we're going to do it. It doesn't, I can tell you what their theory is that it makes it flat, but I use black paint in my work all the time and it doesn't look flat to me, but I'm layering and glazing other colors on top of it in most cases. So that's why, but that is why some people get worked up on that. I think the other thing is people want rules and they make these rules for themselves. And this goes for everything in life. They make these rules for themselves and then they're like, wow, I like this rule for myself. I must run around forcing my personal rules onto everybody else. And it's not a good way to go in society. But I think that that's what we see happening a lot with art, where people are like, this is my personal rule. I must force it upon everyone else. There's nothing wrong with having your personal rule or your personal views on things. When you start demanding it's the only way to do it, I kind of am like, okay, you are not a credible source on this subject. So with art, when somebody's like, you can never do this. When the second you said never, I'm like, I'm probably not going to listen to anything you say now. Unless it comes into something not being archival, that's an issue for me. But other than that, and that's only if you're selling your work. So let's see. That just jumped really, really far. There we go. Susie said, well, this is really starting to look great. I wish I could stay longer, but I need to go help my mom with her knitting. Wish me luck. Well, have fun. I never learned to knit. I did learn to crochet, but I can't do it anymore. Alana said, using pan pastels on Canson Mi-Teintes pastel paper, rough side, and the soft sponges are lifting the pastel after 2 layers. I've resorted to applying with my finger. Is it the paper? I don't know. Are you spraying Spectrafix in between? Because that's what I put Spectrafix in. I have it in one of these little fine, this one's just water, but I have it in a 5 mist bottle. You can mist that and that'll help it. I mean, it's going to lift no matter what. It never really, it's never going to dry on it and be permanent, like it doesn't smudge or anything like a paint would. But it shouldn't lift that much. I'd have to see to know if what you're experiencing is normal or not. But Spectrafix can help it not to lift as much. But yeah, I mean, when I work on pastel paper, it's not going to stick as much as it would on, say, sanded paper. Like there's going to be a difference there because it feels almost slippery, like it doesn't stick nearly as much. Julie said, really enjoying your lessons. I've learned a lot from you. Having fun doing the orange today and think I'll give the flower a go tomorrow. Nice. That orange is so fun. Amy said, I failed during my art courses because I didn't agree with Gestalt theory about art and the physiology. I can't say words behind it. I don't think like a normal person. Ella, artist for the person making it. Yeah, I don't. Some of the stuff that people get in on the reason of art, and they would rather debate the art than go do good art. Like, I don't know that many good artists who care about that sort of thing, you know? And I always kind of laughed. I'm going to switch over. This one is Violet by the Derwent Light Fast, so it's super dark. Gotta be careful where I put this. But I just don't know that many people who have this dogma about art that are actually good artists themselves. Mediocre? Yeah, some of them will get into it, but usually like the artists that I really admire don't get into that stuff that much. So I'm like, I don't see much value in the stuff that they get all uppity about. And also, art history cracks me up because I think most of it is full, maybe not most, but a lot of it is full of crap. This is what the artist from 300 years was feeling when they used this color and this brushstroke indicates. You are full of crap is what it indicates. There is no way you can know that unless the artist told you that. Like, you have to wonder, are people going to look at my work, hundreds, well, I doubt anyone's looking at my work hundreds of years later. Mine's not like groundbreaking or anything. I have fun with it, but so you wonder though, like, are people like, oh, she was in this mood when she painted that? And I'm over here thinking, I mean, I had one too many coffees and didn't feel super hot, and maybe I dropped my paintbrush. It could be, like, I just think so much of the stuff where I watched one video. It was on Van Gogh. I didn't get super far into it because it was so ridiculous. I remember there was a guy riding the bike at the beginning, but it was like a documentary type thing. I forget what it was on, but they started out going through, and I was feeling this way about this and my feelings about this, and you're just like, that is a level of speculation and crap that I just am like, no, I'm out. Nikki Chickadee, wait, did I get that one? Yeah, Nikki Chickadee said, my husband got me a 24 set of Inktense blocks for my birthday today. I'm so excited to try them and have your artwork on the tip. Oh, that's awesome, and happy birthday. Let's see. Whoop, there we go. Sergi said, I sometimes feel like there is a whole Lachri fine art universe with recurring characters such as Stacy, best mom in the world, the chickens, your husband. Yes, that is true. Angel said, I'm so happy Timothy Oliphant is in Mandalorian season 2. Gosh, that man still looks like he's in his... I have no idea what you're talking about, by the way. I don't watch like Star Wars universe. And this is when I got all my thumbs downs on this video. I know I'm weird. I know I'm the outlier here, but I never really got into it. And I don't know who that is, obviously. Sorry, I don't watch TV. Joanna said, hey, cutie patootie, another black bite. I am a big fan of black paint. I use it okay, I probably, maybe, no, I probably won't use it on this one, but let's see. Sneak said, hi, everyone. Hi, Sneaks. Paul said, people are accusing Heather Rooney for drawing celebrities. They don't know the celebrities themselves hire for commissions. Joke's on them. Oh, that's awesome. She's amazing. I mean, and I get, like, I don't know if they've all hired her, honestly. But it falls under fan art. So, and she's really good at it. It's not, I tried doing some fan art, and I'll do it because it interests me, but as far as like getting more views on YouTube, I didn't find that it really made a difference on my, like it didn't boost my channel or anything. So I decided, because of like, I didn't want to mess with copyright stuff because I sure wasn't being hired by celebrities. But yeah, I decided it did not, there was no benefit for me. Let's see. Sergio said, imagine the comments you're going to get in a century or two about the zombie snail. I don't know. They may be a real thing by then. They'll think that I was a psychic. Let's see. Sarah said, I've watched a lot of history documentaries and I've never heard of the talk about how the artist was feeling. We must be watching different things. Well, I stopped watching that. I mean, it was a while ago, but yeah, it was really weird them pushing this means this, and this brushstroke and this color indicates this. It was weird. I'm like, yeah, I'm out. I still haven't watched the one you linked me. Sarah, I have to go to my thing. Sarah sent me some stuff on Facebook. Yay, thank you, Sarah. And thank you, by the way, for sending it. I haven't watched it yet. On something dad that we don't know how to say. Let's see. Stacy, yeah, there's Stacy. Stop texting me, Stacy. Leisha said, you're not alone. I don't watch Star Wars either, and I'm old enough to remember when the first 3 were in theaters. Yeah, it was never really my thing. I don't, like the ones I remember watching as a kid, and like you're a kid, everything's cool. I remember the Ewoks, was that a thing? I remember thinking they were cute, but then when they did the next 3 that were supposed to be the first 3, whatever, with Anakin Skywalker, they were so horrible. Like, I remember the girl that was fighting a cat, and they're like, and this is what I remember from the movie. One, my husband we were dating at the time, making me stand in line for hours, which was crazy to me. And then I'd never stood in line for a movie ever before. That was a little bit of a different experience. That was before cell phones, so you couldn't really like entertain yourself while you were in line. It's just like, so standing here bored. But then I remember wishing that the girl, she was one of the main girls, and there was this big cat thing, and I loved the cat thing, and I was really hoping the cat thing would win and eat her, because it would be the most interesting thing about that entire movie. It didn't happen that way. That is the extent of what I remember about that, because it was just like, is this over yet? Paul said, the reason why Lena's new video blew up is because the title was interesting. Her painting a piece for 2 years. Oh, nice. Cletus is still talking over there. He is being vocal. He knows I'm setting up his new house for him. I think he's excited. So I'm just looking at that photo. Where are like little areas that I might make a little darker, a little lighter? Just watch the direction of these. No, I don't even know. Normally, I will blend out with odorless mineral spirits. Honestly, on this, I don't know that I need to. A lot of the blending, this is supposed to stay so streaky. I'm probably just going to blend it with the pencils themselves and get to where the last layers I start to burnish. I'm not seeing, and maybe it's because I need, maybe I should. Yeah, that's definitely an issue. I need new glasses. I'm like, oh, it's not as smooth when I look at it up close as I thought it was. But, okay, fine. I'll blend out. Actually, I'll blend that, and then we'll start. How much time? Yeah, we're good on time. I take it back. I'm going to do a couple more layers. Let's just get, this one is wild lavender. I'm going to fill in everything else with this wild lavender just to get a good amount of pigment. I'm going to blend with OMS, and then while that dries, we can fill in the center and get the green base. So that is my plan. Oh, the other thing I know about Star Wars is that if you keep saying it's Baby Yoda, it irritates Joseph, which is funny. Joseph's a Star Wars fan, apparently. So filling that in. Notice I don't even care what direction I'm going. I just want to get color on all of the paper where it needs to be, so that when I blend with the OMS, it actually has pigment to blend with. And technically, I could just push a little harder with this pencil and use this for blending. That is another option if you don't have OMS. But I do, so I'm going to use it. Where did I put my paintbrushes? Oh. So, pro tip, when you use OMS, always dip your brush in your OMS and then rub it on. I use Viva paper towel or an old t-shirt, either work. Really dry it out, or not dry it out, but wipe it off. Make sure that brush is clean, because if I had previously been using green and I just went over this and didn't realize that brush was dirty, I would have a big green blob that would not be easy to fix. So this is just going to kind of, it almost melts the pigment, or well, it dissolves the pigment, the binders. And so it's not going to give you as smooth of a look or blending as you would get with like Inktense or watercolor pencils or something like that, but it will smooth things out. And then I will go over it with more details when this layer dries. And I'm trying, although I'm being a bit messy here on the edge, I'm Russian, but see, I just did it there. Try not to get your OMS, I didn't dry that enough, on the paper if you're not filling in the paper. Like if I was going to paint a background on this, it wouldn't matter if I got the OMS all over the background. But if not, sometimes it'll make, like if I'm just leaving the gray of the paper, which I am here, it can leave an oil stain that you just can't get rid of. So if that one leaves that oil stain, I'll just fill it with colored pencil, so it's not the end of the world, but you may not want that. So don't get all crazy with your OMS. Okay, where were we while this dries? Let's see, have you ever painted with gouache? Do you have any tips? I have, it's just opaque watercolor. To me, it feels almost like a combination of like the way that I work with gouache, because you can layer and you've got the more opaque colors. So it's a little bit more how I could work with acrylics in that, but it's, I mean, I don't really have tips. I haven't used it that much to think like this is the tip I would always use, but gouache is just opaque watercolor. So very similar in the way that you would do watercolor, except you've got the opaque colors. You're not dealing with the translucency of forcing the paper to show through for your lights. With gouache, you could use like, you know, actual more opaque colors. Skylar said, I saw a video in my suggestions with the caption, parasite turns snail into zombie snail. Why, or zombie snail. Why does zombie not look spelled right? Because it's not. It's zombie with a Z. And yeah, I've seen those. It's not as cute as my zombie snail. Those are terrifying. Sarah said, I didn't send you any links. Oh, okay. Just a short paragraph with his name and a quick bio. I think his last name is pronounced like dad. I have to look into that. Let's see. Jason said, my art history professors never said the reasons for the colors, just what they had available or what things were going on in their lives. See, now that makes more sense to me. I had a lady that I worked with when at that Let's Art Party place, and she was going to art school, and she was one, I've talked about this a lot, where like you can have a natural eye for something and you don't necessarily need to follow the rule of thirds, whatever, but she was one who didn't have the natural eye, and she was dependent. I mean, that rule of thirds, that grid, like everything, she had to follow every rule her teacher ever told her because she didn't have a natural eye, which was funny because then she would turn around and try to force you to follow those rules. And it's like, I don't need those rules. Like they can work, but it can, you can have something look awesome and it will look better if you don't follow the rule of thirds, or sometimes it needs, like it depends on the piece and it depends on the artist and it depends, whatever. But so this was her, and she was one who would tell me like stuff that my professor said this about this, and I'm like, I'll call bull on that because that is made up. There's no way they could know that. But she was one who had a lot of, she had some stories about what the professor was. I think that she just had professors. I mean, that makes sense if her professors are also kind of pushing the whole, this is how, like, you have to follow the rule of thirds no matter what. You have to follow these rules no matter what. Maybe they told her that because she didn't have that natural eye. And I don't say that as a way to bash somebody. I say that in that you don't have to have a natural eye to still produce beautiful work and get good composition, because you can follow the rule of thirds and make it easy. You know, you're generally going to be pretty well off that way. So don't take that as me bashing somebody who doesn't have a natural eye. That does not mean you can't produce beautiful work. She did some really cool paintings, but she definitely was one who kind of took whatever her teacher said as gospel, and she was like, never use black paint, never do this, never. It was like, yeah. So I think it depends on the teachers you get. Ali said, have you tried the Try Art manufacturer brand from Canada? I have not. They are sold in the US. Apparently they make beautiful acrylics. The one color I would love to get is Liquid Mirror, very shiny. Interesting, I have not. Sergi said, are you going to be using any white on this piece? Yes, I am, besides on the highlighted areas. Why would I use white on the I don't know why I'm missing something here clearly. Sarah said, most art history documentaries I watch focus mainly on the artist's life and reputation and spend very little time on the artwork itself. That would be more interesting to me for sure. Obviously, maybe I just gave up too soon because I watched the few documentaries that came up were so terrible. I was like, I'm out. Kimberly said, and I didn't look further into it, and I probably should have, I guess. Kimberly said, the fact that they knew those girls are not witches messed me up. It still happens now. Oh, talking about the witch trial. Yes. Yeah, that is the documentaries. If you watch documentaries, if you not, because it's kind of interesting to see people do that. You can see like similarities between what the witch trials were doing then versus what people do now, making claims about people that are not true and then going after them, saying like horrible things about them that are, again, not true just because they can, you know, get them fired or get them. It is crazy to watch the similarities and what went on during the Salem witch trial, like that whole, well, not just Salem witch trial, like all the witch trials. It wasn't just in Salem, but the stuff they knew and they lied to get people's property, to get, and it's like, wow, sounds kind of familiar. Let's see. Joanna said, are you getting another dog? Oh, God, no. 2 is good. 2 large dogs is enough. I got hit up to rescue a Newfie, but I already had 2 Great Pyrenees. Oh, my gosh. That's a lot of big dogs. No, the 2 one Greyhound bed failed and his head is on the floor. But no, 2 was my goal. I just want 2. I feel like 3 would be, if my husband really wants a corgi so bad. And so and I've told him, if you're willing to vacuum and get rid of all the fur because they shed so badly, if you will do that every day, you can get a corgi. So, and he says no. I don't think he needs one. I think he's got enough with the dog or the birds because he's the one who takes care of them. Are you dry yet? No, let's go ahead and get a green. We'll do the base of the green while we wait. But I hope he doesn't get a, like, I hope that is one of those things that he'll just keep talking about because they're like his favorite, but that doesn't actually happen because I don't really want more dogs. I can't afford to feed more dogs. These 2 are super expensive as it is. I'm looking for kind of an olive green. I sharpened that one and realized that was probably not it. Here we go. But no, I think 2 is a good number. The only reason I had 4 at one time with the Italian Greyhounds is that my senior girls, I mean, I knew they both had health issues that I'm surprised they stayed with us as long as they were. They really, medically speaking, they probably should have left us about 1.5 years before. It's kind of amazing that they both were with us as long as they were, considering their health situations. So I attribute a lot of that to the raw diet. I think helped slow the cancer down and that. So anyway, that's why I had 4 dogs for a while, but I never actually wanted 4. It was just that we knew we were running out of time with them, and so that's why we got the boys. Let's see. Brian said, can I blend with linseed oil if I have a small room with no ventilation? Can you and should you? I can't answer that for you. Can you? Yes. Should you? I mean, I've done it. Should I have? It didn't affect me. But I'm not going to give you medical advice on that. That's the sort of thing. Anytime you've got fumes and such, you technically should be somewhere with decent ventilation. How much ventilation? I can't tell you. Now, even with me though, I always had I had windows I could open when I have the ceiling fan. The ceiling fan always runs. But I mean, I've worked in small rooms where, like when I used to teach at in-person classes, those were pretty small rooms with not a ton of ventilation. Like people would walk in and go, wow, it smells strong in here. I didn't notice it because I was so used to it. But that is, I mean, you're also going to be using paint thinner if you're using linseed oil. So, you know, you've got a lot of fumes in there. Maybe look for a place that is more ventilated. See if you can find somewhere else to paint. I mean, again, I've done it. I was fine. I didn't have any ill effects that I'm aware of, but I also don't want to somebody might react to it differently than I did. Where are we? Joseph said, I'm a fan of some Star Wars, but not a true Star Wars nerd per se. Yeah, I've met some that are true Star Wars fans. They're dedicated. Sarah said, do you recommend any lilac colored pencil? It's a gap in my colored pencil collection. Polychromos purples are mostly dark tones. Lilac, try Heather. would be one I would consider lilac, or wild lavender. Though, like, these are the two I'm using here. I don't know if that's what you mean by lilac, but those are the Derwent Lightfast pencils. They have some of the best purple, and yeah, mainly the purples I think are the best. Like, no brand compares, I think, to the purple shades in the Derwent Lightfast. So check those out. Sarah said, a different Sarah, Sarah Makes Art said, I just sent you a video link during the live stream. Oh, good, thank you. Skylar said, OMG, I spelled zombie with a V. What's wrong with me? Well, now you know why it didn't look like it was spelled right to you. See, you knew it was off. Let's see, Paul said, of course, I'm not even going to say that out loud. Brandy said, have you ever done a commission that the customer wasn't happy with? How did you and the customer resolve this? The only time that I had that happen, this is a good lesson actually in packing. I had packed something, I did a graphite piece. Well, it turned out that this customer was not mentally stable. I later found that out, like very not mentally stable. So she had bought several pieces for me before she ended up flipping out. She was one who decided we were like BFFs, and no, not Stacy, but although Stacy was a previous customer, but she thought we were like BFFs, and she wanted me to move into, I'm like, I have a home. I mean, it was weird. She wanted me to move into her house, and it had gotten a little... So she, I mean, she was nice initially. Well, then she got more and more clingy and got really weird. So keep that in mind. I'm not dealing with somebody who was like really rock solid. So she had ordered a graphite portrait of her and her husband, but the photo she provided me with, she wanted me to change a million things on it. She wanted me to make her look thinner. She wanted, I mean, a bunch of weird stuff that's like, I can't. But the clothing had to be changed. Everything had to be changed. So I did it. She was happy with it. And I sent it. And I used to try to make things presented because it's fun to open a box where it looks like a present inside, right? So I wrapped it in tissue paper, and I had a piece of twine around it. It was really pretty. It was matted. It was, protected. It was behind acid-free, whatever, not Mylar, whatever it is. You put them behind, it was presented very pretty. Well, it got smushed in travel, and the knot on the what's it called? The twine, whatever I had wrapped around it, the little bow, that pushed into the art, and it left a little divot in it that we couldn't fix. So I had to redo the piece for her. Not a big deal. It happens. I learned my lesson. I don't wrap my work like that. Now it's just, you get something from me and it's not going to come pretty, but it will come intact. So I redid the piece for her, and I made sure if I'm going to redo it, I'm going to make it even better. I'm going to put a little bit more time into it. Make it, I really want to make sure that she couldn't pull the crap that she ended up pulling. Oh, she hated everything about it. It wasn't as good. It wasn't this. And I'm like, I made sure, because I knew she was going to pull that on me. I made sure she couldn't make that claim, and she still did. So, and it's like, well, what do you want me to do about it? The first one was damaged. I made you a second one. Like, what? So yeah, she was never happy with that. And she got to where she would hire me to do stuff, and then she'd love it. And then her husband was like, you shouldn't have, I didn't want that. I don't want to pay for that because I didn't approve. It got like everything with that person got weird. So yeah, I've had that, but she was the only person I ever had that happen with. And I can't say it had anything to do with my skill level or anything like that. She was just, like I said, not stable. But every other person, I've never had anyone unhappy with a commission that they got from me. So, and I'm pretty realistic. Like, if someone got something from me and they didn't like it, I'm very realistic in wanting to pick. I'm gonna probably pick it apart before they will. So it's not like I think everything I do is gold. But in this case, I knew that was almost. I mean, you can never make it exact, but I can make it better. I can put a little bit more time into it, which I did in that case. And she just. But I knew she was going to pull that because I'd figured out at this point she was not super stable. Also, don't talk crap about your clients, because it will make future clients hesitant to sign up or buy from you, like what I'm doing right now. Normally, if I still took commissions, I wouldn't tell these stories, because it makes future clients worried that you're going to tell stories about them too. Now, this is a person I would never work with, and I would not normally tell stories about people, but I think that it's a good learning lesson in this case, because she made life very difficult for me for not just because of that, because other stuff, but yeah, just general business thing. It is not a good idea to tell stories about your clients, because I have seen people do that, where they will go and start complaining about their clients complaining, and they'll do that publicly. And it's like, it's too easy for that to get back to the client. Don't do that. It doesn't make potential clients feel comfortable in working with you, because they're going to be afraid you're going to, like, are you going to do that to me too? So, just little tip there, like what I was just saying, kind of talking trash about that client and the difficulties I had. I don't recommend you talk about yours. If you're still taking commissions, not a good idea to be saying those things. Like what I am. Do as I say, not as I do, I guess. Jason said, what is a natural eye? Is there such a thing as an unnatural eye? Isn't the eye of the beholder? Yeah, but some people have to where their mind can look at art and see, okay, this is balanced, or this is not balanced, or this doesn't quite look good. And I'm not saying everything I do is perfectly balanced. That's not what I'm saying. But like, I'm able, and not me just saying that, like other people who are very established artists had pointed that out about my stuff, that my work, even when I was bad technically, like my technical skills were not there, my balance was there. So some people have a natural eye for figuring out the weight of a piece and making it, like, that's how my mind reads it, is the weight of keeping a nice balance, keeping a nice flow, of getting that nice composition. Not everybody has an eye for that. Not everybody is going to be able to draw something that has a nice balance when coming up with different compositions. So you can learn, like I said, rule of thirds. You can learn tricks that will help you to keep a nice balance, even if you don't have that natural eye. So it can still be done. But yeah, it is such a thing. And it is just, some people have a natural, like they just can tell if something is balanced or not, if that makes sense. Like what I'm doing right now, not balanced. This whole as it is right now, not balanced at all. But it is, yes, that is definitely a thing. And I don't think it's something that you learn to have a natural eye for that balance, but I think it's something that you can learn, and I kept saying this, I know, that you can just learn to fake it, I guess. There are tricks to make it look like you have that natural eye, even if you don't. One said, I only blend with the same color, which is lilac, because I don't have OMS. That works. You can blend with the same pencils. Kimberly said, they accuse those who are out of the ordinary kind of women, say those who are outspoken and does not fit the mold of a woman. Yeah, they accused people not just for that. Like when you go back to the witch hunts, they were accusing people because they wanted their property. They had accused them. You had some people who were just afraid and saw witchcraft in everything. And then you had people who were using it as a political move to get things that they wanted. If I say that this person is a witch, I just discredited them. All I have to say is this one thing that people are afraid of or people are against, and I can get their land. I can hold, the stuff that was done, like when you look into the political side of things at the time, and I don't mean political like big government, I mean like local tiny little things. People did some dirty, dirty things to get their way if they didn't like somebody. And that was the other thing. If they just simply didn't like them, they could do it. It was crazy. Hold on, that just jumped a whole lot. Oh my gosh, this really jumped. Scrolling up. Okay, Dan said, hi Lisa, I was wondering, could food-safe linseed oil or canola work as a pastel solvent? Don't use non-art grade products on your artwork if you want it to last. Could it be used? I mean, yeah, it's not going to be archival. You're going to run into problems. It's not processed the same. It's not the same thing. So don't do it. Can you use it? Yes. Should you use it? Abso-freaking-lutely not. Stacy said, you love me because I won't ever get that creepy. I appreciate my aloneness much too much to ask you to live with me. This is true. I don't think Stacy knew the person. I think I had some mutual friends with that lady. No, actually, she was still out there. I don't think I know anyone who still, like, she kind of ran all her friends off. It was interesting. Like her husband would text me thanking me for being his wife's friend. It got weird. I was just like, what? Why? Let's see. Someone said, not just for fumes, even for dust you get off wearing N95 or higher grade mask. I am sorry, Simon, I'm not sure what exactly you're talking about. Angel said, I feel like I'm missing part of that conversation. Angel said, I have watched some psychological documentaries. It interests me how schizophrenic people behave documented. Do you have firsthand experience with one? Yes, my biological dad was schizophrenic. He was diagnosed in the 70s, I believe. And so he was a functioning schizophrenic, meaning, I mean, the easiest way for me to describe that is you had to really get to know him to realize he was schizophrenic. And things like this would be an example of the stuff that we would go through. And he was very violent too. But that's when he was diagnosed, was when he was in a sanitarium for trying to kill my mom. But fun times. Where was I going with that story? Oh, so my first boyfriend, I was like 16, I think. I don't know, like my first serious boyfriend. I was sitting, and I was a good kid. I was sitting at the time, on the couch with him, and my boyfriend and his best friend were spending the night at my dad's house. My dad used to drag race. And so we were all staying the night at my dad's house. I went back and forth between my dad's and my mom's at the time. But I was staying at my dad's house because we were getting up early to go drag racing. And he came out. He goes to bed at he usually would wake up at 4 a.m. when he could hold down a job. So he went to bed really early. So me and the boyfriend are sitting on the couch talking. We weren't kissing. We weren't doing anything. My dad comes out. He stands in the hallway and he's just glaring at us. And we're like, is he sleepwalking? Like, this is weird. Why is he looking at us this way? Like, my dad's in the next room. I'm not even going to kiss my boyfriend on the couch. I'm not dumb. So he gets all angry. My dad walks back into his room. He comes back out a few minutes later and starts screaming that he caught us on the couch having adult relations. I mean, that wasn't how he worded it, but he was, flipping out. And because he gets violent, it's like, get out of the house fast because I don't know what he's going to do. But the thing was, and I'm not mad at him. Like when I was younger, I had a lot of anger towards him because of the stuff he would do and say to people. He would lie about me really badly. But in his mind, whatever he thought I said or did, he believed that was his fear, is catching his daughter in adult relations. And so in his mind, that's what he saw. And as an adult, I can look back and go, I get it. Like, I'm not mad at him for it because his brain processed reality. It mixed his fears in with his reality. And he genuinely believed that's what happened. And that's the sort of thing, that's one of the most easy to explain things on how it worked. But yeah, I definitely have a lot of experience with schizophrenia, with dealing with my bio dad. He's the only one in my family. That side of the family were all, I don't know if any of the rest were schizophrenic. I know that everyone else was, all my aunts and uncles, there were a bunch of them, were either, one has Asperger's, the others were all bipolar. Extremely abusive bunch. I have nothing, I'm not in contact with any of them, but they were, it's definitely genetic, that's for sure. Me and one sister don't have any, as far as anyone knows, we don't have, I say I'm crazy all the time, but we don't actually suffer from what many of the people in that family did. It was pretty crazy, the stuff. I guess that maybe isn't the PC way to word that on that topic, but it was, I am glad I don't have to deal with that anymore. Julie said, if the only colored pencils you had were Polychromos, what would be your go-to paper? Probably the Arches hot press watercolor paper. I think that would probably be. It used to be the Fabriano Artistico extra white hot press watercolor paper, and that still works, but I think I like the Arches a bit better. Brian said, I'm starting to paint with oil. What colors do you recommend to add to my palette? I have yellow, cadmium lemon, quidonkadonk rose, phthalo blue, burnt sienna, and titanium white. All of them? I don't. Here's the thing. Experiment. If you want to paint, you have to try it. You have your basic colors. Use them all. That's not a huge lot of colors. So I often talk about using a limited color palette. so that you can learn to mix your colors. That is a limited color palette. You're okay with all of it. Go ahead and get those, start using those and experimenting. And what you come up with may not be amazing. That's okay. That's how you're going to learn. Don't get I feel like people want someone to hold their hands so tightly through every step of the way that they don't experiment. And if you don't experiment, you're not going to progress as an artist. You get to where you're using that other person's advice as such a crutch that you're not learning. You have to make some mistakes. You have to try something and go, oh, not doing that again. That's a huge part of learning with art. Just jump in and paint. And it sounds like you've got a good set of colors. That is a great way to start get started with what you've got. You're going to learn a lot about blending and mixing color from that set. Kimberly said, I can feel the Christmas air and feel emotional with all the current events. Do you too? I'm not even religious, but in times like this, I somehow seek refuge to somebody bigger. It's funny that you bring that up. Because last night, it was warm enough out. Me and Gibson went on a nighttime walk. There was an unnatural amount of homes with Christmas lights already up. I've never seen that happen before. Already, day after Halloween, people were putting up their Christmas lights. And it's kind of neat. And I spent time, I guess praying. I don't normally talk about that stuff on here, but I definitely did during the walk. And it was such a cool experience with the lights and the atmosphere. I don't know, there was just something, I had such a good night last night walking. And because, everyone's stressed right now with everything going on. And to be able to just walk and look at that higher power as the stuff going on in our world, right now, our current events, we've dealt with this stuff before. The media likes to make it sound like it's at the end of the world and it's never going to be okay again. And it's just to realize there are bigger things out there than us. And these things are just not that, they're not as big as what we're making them out to be, I guess. But yeah, it's funny you bring that up because that's exactly what I was feeling last night. It was a really good walk. I normally listen to my audiobook. I paused it, so I'm I'm just going to spend time in this moment and just focus. It was a good walk. Monica said, Ma says hi. Oh, yay. Ma has the nurse phone again. She might come home today, and she's in good spirits. She's loving this flower, so I'll have to do this one for her. You are keeping me busy. Nice. That is awesome. And yay, I'm so glad she gets to come home. You have to make her a whole cake. She needs the whole thing this time. Let's see. Oh, that just jumped too far. Hold on, scrolling up. That really jumped way too far. Where were we? There we go. Monica said, thank you for the tip with the oil pastel OMS. Blended nicely for me. Nice. Yay. I still want to get myself some oil pastels, I think. I really had the itch to play with those again lately. It's been so many years. One said, recently started a Grinch 2018 with Max, the dog drawing with Prismacolor. How fun. See, everyone's yeah, the Christmas, I'm super tempted to get part of me doesn't want to put my fall decor away yet because I do like some of it. And part of me is I just want to get out my Christmas stuff now. I don't have a lot. I have a garland I put over my, the TV stand. TV stand? TV's hanging on the wall. Would it still be considered a TV stand? But what's below the TV? I decorated because I've always been into the ocean stuff. And back before I realized it's kind of disturbing, I have a lot of starfish and sand dollars, and I put glitter on them, and they're really pretty. I turn them into Christmas ornaments. They're beautiful because nothing says, yay, baby Jesus, like dead sea creatures. I didn't think that through, but it's still very pretty, and I've had them for 20 years since I was a teen. I made them. No, I was probably in my early 20s when I made them, but I've been using those same ones ever since. So I really want to pull those out and decorate. And I'm trying to decide what I want to decorate the front of the house with. My neighbor said, because I wasn't going to put up Christmas lights, and he keeps saying he'll do it for me, but I don't want to take advantage of my neighbor. They do a lot for us, so I'm I appreciate that because they're young, so they don't mind getting on a ladder, where me and my husband are we are just too old for that crap. So I haven't decided. I'm going to have to get creative if I don't want to do Christmas lights. We didn't do it last year because we had just moved in, but I don't know how I want to decorate. Let's see. TK said, I live alone since a few days. Lucky to listen to the conversation. Have to get used to the silence, if that makes sense. Put on some music. I can't do just silence. I either have music playing or I have an audiobook. I can't handle complete silence at all. I mean, I don't have as much now because my husband's been working from home with the whole COVID stuff. But before I was home by myself with the animals all day, and I always have to have something playing. I cannot handle silence. Skylar said, I've been doing chalk commissions. The clients gave me prompts so I can do something they want. I make drafts of what I plan to do, but I don't show the clients. But with paper commissions, I do show clients my drafts. Should I always show the clients the drafts of commissions no matter the medium? You've got to decide what you're comfortable with. That's actually an interesting topic because sometimes the draft can look, if the client doesn't understand, like, okay, let's say I do a mock-up of something in Photoshop. If they don't understand how much better it's going to look when I'm done, or let's say the progress, like I'm working on a portrait right now, the one I was calling Creepy Bob. Bob's not the guy's name, but we'll call him Creepy Bob. Creepy Bob was in a very creepy, ugly stage. I would not show the client this. There's no way, because they're going to be like, oh, I was excited about that, and now it's, I don't think you're going to pull that one off. So I don't think that you always have to show them like it might. Is it going to impress them or is it going to scare them? If it's going to scare them, I wouldn't show them. Unless the only exception might be if I showed someone like, this is my rough sketch and here's a finished version of that painting, what it'll turn into, just to give you an idea so you can see how the layout works and what I'll turn it into. That might be a case that I would show someone the ugly stage when they can see the, like, this is the ugly stage, or the pre-sketch, here's the final. That might be a case, but it would depend. Veek said, I don't know what that says. Try to live average normal lives when schizophrenia. I didn't see that. Try to live average normal lives when medicated. I'm sure it's not easy for them. Most of them are not violent, just triggered by stressors. Brain is wired different. Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing. I mean, with my biodad, like my sister has a lot of anger towards him, which is funny because it was me that he took his anger out in. But I don't have the anger because it's like I understand at the same time that he couldn't help that he experienced something very different than what the rest of the world was experiencing. He grew up in a very violent home. So you've got the combination of nature versus nurture. He had everything going against him. It was very sad. So, I mean, the man had everything and ruined that. But at the same time, and he was never medicated. He would never take medication. So even when hold on. Do I have a bunch of stuff outside I have to go get? What is at my front door? If it's a bunch of packages, I'm going to go grab it, which would be cool because that would also mean that my Teespring stuff is here. Hold on. I'm just looking at the ring to see. I don't know why I'm doing this. By the time this pulls up, I could have gone and gotten this stuff and come back. Nah, that's just Amazon. That can sit there. What did I order? I don't know what I ordered. Oh, something for Fungus Nuts. But anyway. He was never medicated, and he would go to counselors on occasion, but the counselors didn't know he was schizophrenic because he was so good at lying about it. He didn't believe he was schizophrenic was part of the problem. Well, I mean, obviously that kind of goes, unfortunately, with that. So it was he had a very hard, very sad life. I definitely feel bad that he went through what he did. I mean, you can go, yeah, you made choices, you could have gotten help, but it's like also understanding that where he was in his head, he didn't believe that it was him because that's a part of the illness. So yeah, that was rough. Someone said, really miss drawing. I left my full cupboard of my art supplies back in a country which I had to leave due to COVID. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I hope you can find a pencil or something to at least sketch with. Priscilla said, how do you go about putting two subjects in a surrealism piece to coexist naturally? For example, a giraffe and an orca. Just wondering how to get your ideas to make things mesh together. So I look at it as a collage, and I come up with a balance. Let's say I wanted to do a giraffe and an orca. I would get photos that I want to use, and I would get several. So I might have several of orcas, several of giraffes, just to get a general idea. I could try different ones. I cut out the background, and I move them around like a collage till I find that balance, what just feels right, and then work other elements in to make them mesh together. But I do that usually in Photoshop. I used to do it all. I'm going to get a base on this so we can get it to dry. But I used to do it all in just a sketchbook. But Photoshop makes it easier because I can make things bigger, make things smaller, and really adjust them to get what feels like the perfect design. But I look at it really like a collage and then try to make it work together. Hold on one second. There we go. Jason said, with oils, I am looking for a space to work in so that I can work safely and I don't want to have problems. Then I will teach myself to paint with oils. Sounds like a good plan. They also, I wonder if air purifiers, if that would make a difference too. I don't know. I don't have one. Kimberly said something about that Christmas air. Trust me, I'm not like emo boho kind or boohoo kind of girl, but it's these times where I can just reflect and ponder, I guess. I think it's the lights. There's something, those lights just have, there is something about Christmas lights to me. But then when you take them down, that's the thing that I don't like. When, God, January is like, it's cold, all the lights are gone, you had to take your decorations and it's depressing. I hate January. I'm looking for a yellow. Let's see. Oh, looks like there's some good ones that'll work for me here. Looks good. And that's kind of part of why I'm like, do I really want to do the lights? If I do the lights now, I can enjoy them long enough. But if I put the lights up after Thanksgiving like normal, you've only got, what, 3 weeks of fun decorations before, because I always take them down the day out, like Christmas Day usually. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to fill this in solid and then I'll put little guys out. This one, by the way, the color is Amber Gold. It is by my Derwent Lightfast. Now here's something that I'm going to do where that got a little dark. There's 2 things that I can fix this up with. I'm going to take my Faber-Castell Perfection Eraser, sharpen that a bit. So I want some little sections to be able to come up a bit further. So I'm going to erase a little bit where I have the purple. I'm going to lift some of that color. Now I don't need to get the paper back to completely like the light gray, but now my yellow will stand out over it. See how I can kind of change the shape there by taking, and this is the Faber-Castell Perfection Eraser. I just go and erase a few spots, stick some out of there. I'm going to blend that with OMS. So let's just go ahead and put a couple more layers on there. We'll blend that, and we'll get back to shading our flower. Oh, we need to double clean that real well. That has a lot of purple on it. We don't really do much for Christmas anymore anyway, like we used to. When I lived in California, we had family stuff. We really don't here, so we don't have a lot of family here, so that's different too. Okay. Jason said, you are not old. I have to do this putting stuff up for my parents, so what the heck? Old enough. I mean, with the arthritis, I feel like I'm in my 80s, so I'm going with old enough. One said, you should make a Christmas drawing with colored pencils for a live stream. We will. And we're also going to be having, well, it won't be colored pencil, but Zombie Snail will be making many holiday appearances. Let's see. Gloobertube, am I saying that right? Said, any tips for a new colored pencil artist? I'm 13 and just got my first set of Prismacolors and have little to no idea how to use them. Just jump in and draw and start coloring with them and see what happens. There's tons of videos. I mean, you see what I'm doing here. You follow along with this one, just with your Prismacolors. Follow along with those videos, and that is going, I mean, you're just going to learn. I think we get so hung up on wanting everything. There's a fungus gnat in my face. Wanting everything absolutely perfect our first time using something. It's not going to be. You're going to layer. So my first tip is going to be keep that pencil sharp. Actually go look at my video. I think it's the top 7 mistakes in colored pencil. And then I have another like top mistake in colored pencil. Watch those videos because that, I think knowing what not to do can help. But my big tip, work with your sharp pencil, work in light layers. Don't push super hard right off the bat because that's going to burnish the paper. You're not going to get many layers on top. So those would be my tips for you, but go watch some of those videos and then follow along with stuff like this. But don't push too hard too soon. Beth said, this is beautiful. I hate that I don't have time to draw with university as well. It's kind of a stress relief for me. Oh, it's not forever though. You'll graduate soon. That just jumped. Oh, that jumped far. Scrolling up. There we go. Skylar said, thank you. LOL, yeah, most of the drafts are on sticky notes, are very rough. Yeah, and that might scare the client. So, you've got to decide what is going to impress them or not. Yeah, and just as a reminder, if you do have a question for me, make sure to do the Outlaw Cree Fine Art. It'll highlight my name in orange so I can actually see that you're talking to me. Otherwise, I just don't see your questions. So I apologize. Fine Art Ann said, in Finland, we usually have those Christmas lights on whole winter, although we don't have quite as much light as you do. It's nice to have the light when it's so dark in winter here. That makes sense. I was tempted to put on just white lights, and that I could kind of leave up a little bit longer just to make it pretty. So I was considering that. But then I kind of also like my neighbor down the street, they put those big, like, I don't know, they feel retro to me, very like early 80s. Those big bulbs that are like bright, just red, green, yellow, like the super, it so reminds me of being a kid, because we went through many years that everyone had just white lights, and I always liked the white lights better, but I don't know, there's something about, like, it reminds me of being a kid, those big, bold, almost ugly lights. I kind of want to do that too. Angel said, I feel a pity for Johnny Depp because he lost his case with Amber Heard. Both need help for sure because Amber is abusive and Johnny... Yeah, that sounds like drama. I don't know a lot about her, want to really get into. I do know that I hate when we've gotten to a side where we are a place where we act like women can't be abusive, and it's like men and women can be abusive. Like, we always assume that the man is the abuser, and I hate that. I hate that we don't acknowledge that both can be abusive, and men kind of get screwed over in a lot of that. I mean, I don't know anything about their specific, I don't know a whole lot about their specific case, so I can't speak as to that. I just, like, there's like plant groups. People, there was a post one of my friends shared with me, and a plant, actually Stacy was, if she's here, will know what I'm talking about because she's the one who sent it to me, where somebody writes this long thing, like, we always joke, people are like, oh, I'm not allowed to buy any plants anymore. This woman writes this long post on how her husband must be, that's financial abuse or something like that, or control, for telling you, maybe she owns 60 plants and he's sick of having to move plants over so he can have dinner at the dinner table. Maybe that's why, or maybe they are under financial constraints and he's being responsible. Who knows? But like, people, I'm so sick of people jumping to the conclusion if a man did something that he must be abusive. Like, it just drives me crazy. Like, both parties can be abusive. You can both, and it sounds like that was the case here, where both were just had issues. Let's see. I'm an equal opportunity. Everybody can be a jerk. Gypsy said, I use Christmas type light strings in my studio year round just for the ambience while I work. Leave some up year round. You know, I normally did I brought mine from my old studio here, and something broke along the way and they didn't make it. So I don't have any in here right now, but I normally do in the studio. I may need to set that up again. I don't know. I'm kind of liking, I've been rearranging the plants and stuff. I'm liking how the studio's coming out. One said, same, I'm also just starting with colored pencil. I have like a month or two. I'm 12 years old and I recently drew a pumpkin with them for a school project and learned about what's wrong. Yeah, that's the thing. Just jump in and start drawing. Don't be afraid. If you mess up and things look bad, you learned what not to do. It's a win either way. But also for kids, no, don't tell people your age. I actually won't answer questions further because now I know you're a child, so I don't interact with kids because of YouTube rules. So, you know, just a general tip for kids, if you're watching videos, stop telling people you're a kid because it's not. Predators are out there. Keep safe. Let's see. Lindy said, you could do both kinds of lights, then take down the big colored ones after Christmas. Maybe. I don't know what our HOA rules are, like on just year-round, like white light type thing. I do have uplights in my front yard that are pretty, so that was what I ended up going with, what I have currently. Sarah said, I know about popular male YouTuber who was abused by his girlfriend. Yeah, there are many. It happens, and it drives me crazy that we like to, I'm using, by the way, it looks black in the photo. I'm going to use, this one is violet. I will probably also use nightshade. Where's my nightshade? Which one's darker? I don't think I have nightshade out. Let me find it. I will be using dark purples to shade instead of black. The black, you'll just kind of get a muddy greenish tone going because it'll mix in with the yellow that's there. I don't want that, so I'm going to use purple for my dark shadows. Let's see. The only problem is I don't know where it is. There we go. There's nightshade. I need to order a bunch of these purples because I go through these faster than any of my other light fast colors. Or I should say Derwent light fast, because I guess light fast could mean any pencil. Nikki, or NH Chicky said, one of my friends had an ex-wife that was a tyrant. She hit him and he felt like a bee but didn't know what to do about it. He used to talk to me about it. Yeah, it sucks. I feel really bad for men in these situations because they're not taken seriously. And I've known of plenty of women who were absolutely horrible. Same thing kind of when it gets into, like, I think we need to revamp what we do for child, like custody. We always give the woman the custody, and sometimes the man may be the better caretaker, or should at least have more rights than he's given. But I hate the way our system is set up that kind of villainizes, always jumps to that the man is the villain. And in most cases, both people are at fault. I mean, let's be realistic. But we always act like if you're a lady, you're always like in the right, and that is not always the case. Like we stopped looking for truth because we started siding with someone based on something that had nothing to do with whether they were honest or not, I guess. Alana said, this flower looks so good. Definitely learning from you that I don't have to be exact to the photo. I can make it better. Exactly. You do not need to be exact. That's a big thing to learn. Like, just take that photo and use it as a guideline. You're not married to it. He's just your buddy. That's all that photo is. Make it your own. Kimberly said, wild how people glorify the Joker-Harley Quinn relationship. That's not fun. Really, why? I mean, I don't know with comics. I can't really. I don't know. Jason said, so I go back to the response that I had. Wish I was still younger. How about young at heart? I don't know. Young at heart doesn't get me up and down a ladder. Let's see. Kimberly said, our justice system is outdated and just interesting. That is a good way to put that. It is definitely outdated. Like, we set things up where we want to protect people, but then people will always manipulate any system that's set up. I think that's what it is. They will use it to their advantage, but like, we try to set it up, okay, well, this side's manipulating it, so we're going to overcompensate to protect this group, but now that group starts manipulating and this group gets screwed over, and it's just not, yeah. I just want things fair for everybody. I know so many cases where the dad would have been the better caregiver too. And the fights involved. I mean, there's a case here where this little girl here in North Texas was being abused by the mother's boyfriend, and the courts kept giving the mother custody even though they knew this abuse was going on. And it's like, the dad and his wife were like, we know they had to find proof. It was a nightmare for this little girl, had to suffer through so much because the courts were like, nah, the mom's fine. The mom's a good caregiver. There's way more to that story. You can look up. I can't remember the name because you could look it up. I don't remember the names now. Let's see. Jason said it gets you up the ladder, just not down. Sarah said, on the flip side, I've heard of cases where women who killed men in self-defense were given harsher sentences than men because I don't believe that they didn't behave the way women were supposed to. I've not heard of many cases like that. Usually the cases I hear, the women get off much in most cases, and I can only speak statistically because you're always going to have individual outliers where somebody didn't follow the norm. But normally, like if you go through the way our system is set up, women get way lighter sentences for the same crime that a man commits, which is like, why is that? Why is it not just equal? Or you could just not commit the crime, and then you don't have to worry about it, I guess. I don't know. There's also that. Let's see. Dan said, exactly, sexism is sexism regardless of the sex, perp, and the vic. Yep, they're a victim. Yep. I just want it equal for everybody. I live in the dream world where I want bad people to like stop being bad and the good people and just everything to be honest and for everyone to know the truth. I know that doesn't exist, but I don't like the cultural, like, we're going to choose sides based on nothing to do with the facts of the case. And that it seems like we kind of the witch hunts we get into, that seems to be what we do so often. And it's like, I just want to know what the truth is. Can we just have the truth come out in all of these cases? Gail said, love the bigger bulbs too. With the current small lights, when one goes out on a strand, they all die. Oh, really? I didn't even think, I mean, no, I know that, and I didn't even think about that. I think some don't always do that now, or you could test them, but it's a pain, and that's kind of what I had happen with the ones that were in my studio. The big ones are beautiful and give me a nostalgic feeling too. Yeah, I'm leaning towards the big. I'm gonna have a hard time convincing my husband because he hates the ones with the color, and I did for many years too, but now the whole nostalgia, and I feel like we need it. I don't know. Maybe I'll just put lights like around the entry of my house and not like the whole roof. I so appreciate that my neighbor offered to help with that, but I'm like, I just don't want to keep having this poor guy do stuff for us. Like, you've got enough to do. Let's see. Kimberly said, okay, the chat is getting wild. Why are people stating their ages? Like, that's so crazy. Yeah, kids do that a lot, and don't. Kids do not do this. Because kids are not supposed to be in the chat. My videos are not for kids, FCC, at all. I can't help when some watch. I try to be boring enough. Nothing I'm talking about should interest a child. FCC? FTC? I think it's FCC. So I'm just going to go through, get some more little shadows in here. So just, oh yeah, forgot what I was doing all of a sudden there. Sudden. And I'm pushing pretty hard now with this pencil just to get some little highlighted areas so we get some texture. Actually, you know what I think would look better? Let's do the touch-up texture titanium white mixture. So if you don't have this product, you don't have to do this. You can just keep up with your pencils. Oh, it's getting cloudy out there. I wonder if are we getting storms in North Texas? Does anyone know? It looks like questionable. Okay, so what I'm going to use is the colored pencil titanium white. I'm going to be mixing this. Oh, good. It's still mostly, now I still have to mix it a little. This is the colored pencil touch-up texture. You can get this from brushandpencil.com. I think Dick Blick now carries it. Like a lot of places have it now. Who has it over line? Jackson's, I think, has it in the UK. Delta Art in Canada. I forget who has it in Australia, but you know, it's available all over. And what I'm going to do is mix these two products together and paint on some highlights. This is going to get lighter than anything I can possibly get at this point with a colored pencil. So the way I mix it, and I should have cleaned this. I use this little condiment cup or a lid. It's the lid, and it's the best little palette for this. I love it. Reusing all the things. Okay. So what I will do, and this you want to make sure you shake up really well. You'll see it settle at the bottom. I don't know why I'm showing you because I already mixed mine up, but you'll see like a white little patch settle at the bottom. Shake this until that's no longer there. You really want this shaken up really well. So we'll put some titanium white and make sure if you use the powder blender products that you don't accidentally grab powder blender. It won't work. I mean, you won't ruin anything. It just won't work. Okay. Joshua said, I'm a single dad of 3 girls whose mother abandoned them, and the court is giving me a hard time. I have no criminal record, and I do art to support my kids and be home with them. See, you are the exact case I'm talking about, and I see this way too. I know so many cases where I'm like, that mom should not have. Why is this a thing? So I want the kids to come first, I guess. I want what's best for the children. And in most cases, I think having both parents involved is the best. But then there are cases where if like somebody abandoned them, my friend went through that. The mom abandoned the kids. I'm going to stir that together. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just using a synthetic contour liner brush. Oh, I do not have enough of my touch-up texture in there. Or I mean titanium white. I put a little too much liquid. But yeah, I just want to go to where we're focusing on what is best for the kids. And it sounds like in that case, the being with you is what's best. And for some reason, the courts they just put too much weight on always giving it to the mom. And statistically, a child is more likely to be, and as far as I know, this is still the case, to be abused by a woman as a mom than by their father. So why then are we just automatically saying the mom's the best? It's going to vary case by case. I'm not saying the mom's never the best. I'm saying it varies case by case. Let's figure that out. Okay. So I'm going to do some little highlights on here. It'll make it look kind of sparkly. And if I go too white, I get a little too crazy, have too much fun with this white highlighting, no big deal. When it dries, I can go right on top of it with colored pencil. Little squiggles in here. Like I said, you can do this with your colored pencils. You don't have to have this product. It's a must for me. I don't want to do colored pencil without it. But it's going to get things brighter than what I can possibly get with colored pencil alone. I absolutely love this stuff. And I'm just looking at my photo mainly for figuring out what direction these little lines should go. Again, does not have to be perfect. Let's go for close. We talk about the most random things in our chats. That's why I stopped putting, sometimes I still forget to edit it because I copy paste the descriptions and stuff. It'll still say art chat. It's usually not. It's all that we chat all the things. Chat all the things, chat about all the things, whatever. See, I can really just make these pull out. They stand out so pretty. But like I had said before, if they end up being a little too much, get a little too crazy, having too much fun, don't worry about it. Pencil goes, it'll stick on top really well. This adds tooth back to the paper anywhere where I've done it. So it's really easy. Now with this product, you do make sure you don't mix too much of it. Like that is already it's starting to dry, and you know I've just been doing it for a couple of seconds, so that's, I almost dropped that. That is something to keep in mind, and don't add water thinking it's starting to dry. Just add some water to wet it like you would with paint. Don't do that. You just made it no longer archival. This is the only archival product available that goes on top of colored pencil that is archival for the wax and wax and oil-based colored pencils. You can't use acrylic paint. That's not going to be archival because that's a water-based product. Gel pen, again, water-based product on top of a wax or oil-based pencil, not archival. That will smudge or wipe off. So this is the only product available at this time that works for this, that you can just paint on like this and have it actually be archival. And the cool thing is, because I'm mixing it with the touch-up texture, everywhere I'm adding this adds tooth to the paper. Now that needs to dry for about 10 minutes before I can go on top of it with pencil if I want to. So I've heard people say that they had it flake off, and I suspect it's either that they put it on way too thick, or that they pushed too hard with the pencils when they went on top, or they didn't let it dry all the way. So, I mean, I don't even always wait 10 minutes, and I've never had it flake off. So I'm not sure exactly where the trouble is when that happens. And you can go over it too when it's dry. Let's say I blend yellow on top, but I want to blend it out. You can use OMS on it, and it's fine too, once it's dry all the way. Okay. Now I need to go rinse my brush in the sink with water so that it doesn't dry and get ruined. And I'll be right back. A few more little lines in here. Let's give a few little sparkles on the stem, just because I think it's cute, not because it's accurate. Okay, I will be right back. Let me go rinse this out. Well, I say right back. You guys are coming with me. I really like this wireless mic. And I don't use soap or anything. It just water is enough. It's really hard to get through here with you there, Wade. I think I just pulled a hip. Okay, so we're going to let that set for a minute. Get caught up in a couple of questions. Oh, here we go. Joanna said, we need to hoard every second of joy we can get. Pop up the lights. I don't have lights yet. I'd have to go shopping for them. I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, what easier things can I decorate my yard with without having to be on a ladder? And I don't even have hooks up out there because it's a brick house, so I don't know where, like, don't even know how to do it. Jason said, like I said earlier, you get your pets working for their food. You can afford to pay your neighbors when they were working for you. Well, yeah, and exactly. I definitely believe in paying my neighbors. Like I do. He does my yard work and I pay him for that. So that's important to me to pay for. But then I'm like, to pay for any work done. But I also, do I want to pay to put Christmas lights up? Maybe if they went up now and stayed up through December, sure. But that's like is that a value enough to me to put the money into it? No, I am 100% with you on I pay for work done. Like actually, so my neighbor built me a box. It was going to go over the water reservoir for the red-eye tree frog tank. They ended up using a small, throughout all of this, I had something smaller, don't need it anymore. So, but yeah, I already had to make the box. So he just finished it for me. I'm going to stain it and I'll use it in my studio somewhere. So it'll get used in here, but he won't give me a price. He's like, oh, you're my neighbor. Uh-huh. So that's even a bigger reason not to be a jerk and to pay you for your work. Like, no, give me a price and you won't. And so now I'm going to have to contact another friend who's a woodworker, send him photos and be like, what is this worth? Because I genuinely have no idea and I don't want to overpay him, but I also don't want to underpay him. Like I want to pay what the value of this is. So I have to now send a picture of it to another friend of mine who has a woodworking business and be like, give me a price for this because he is not, we were arguing about it again earlier. He goes, oh, I just used leftover scrap wood. What about your time? Oh no, give me $20. No, you paid, no. So no, I am with you on that. Yeah, I definitely, I pay for it. Or pay for that sort of thing. Starving Artist Collective said, having been in a domestic violence and child custody situation, no one on the outside can judge how bad it is until they've been in it. Absolutely, been there myself. Like I said, my schizophrenic dad, he fought for when my mom finally left him. He didn't want me or my sister. Actually, he hated me, but he wanted my sister to hurt my mom. Like it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. So it's not even like going back to, you can't always say that it should always be the woman who gets the kids or always be the man. It shouldn't be that. And it should be what's best for each individual situation. But I feel like right now our system is set up that tends to side with the women no matter what. Like it sucks, but no, it's never a good situation, especially when you get into domestic abuse, which was what our situation was. He was very abusive, but he lied, and so that made it even harder. And but it was a nightmare. Sarah, and that's one of the things too. I think people have a tendency to go, okay, I was in a situation where my dad was abusive, and yet he was still fighting for custody and making life a nightmare for my mom. And so a lot of people, they're in a situation like that, and so they assume that every situation is like that. Therefore, you just side with the woman. It's the man has been abusing her, and it's like, yeah, but sometimes it's the reverse. Like the absolute reverse. I have a friend, his ex was a drug addict and getting high and not taking care of the kids, like really getting high, like passed out on the floor, toddlers running around. So it depends. It needs to go by the individual situation. I think we need to stop siding with somebody based on not the actual individual situation. Sarah said, there's a true story about a woman whose husband brought her and her daughter to Iran, and in that country, the event of divorce, the child automatically goes to the father. Yeah, not good either. Gypsy Heart said, I forgot to eat half the time with all my fibro and fog and medication problems. Lord help my kids if they only had me. I know 100% they would be better with my husband if ever anything happened between us. Yeah, I'm so glad your husband was able to help with that. I don't think I could take care of kids. My dogs let me know. Well, I mean, if I can keep on a schedule, and that's what I typically do, like my animals come before I do, I guess. I can forget on me, but the dog, Gibson's not letting me forget anything, that's for sure. My Italian Greyhounds were the same thing. They were not letting me forget. I mean, if I was 15 minutes late, well, they were reminding me an hour before it was time to eat, so thank God. Jessie was really good because their water dish, I couldn't see it easily, and they would drink so much water. And so she would take her pot and tap on it constantly until I filled it. So I never forgot the water too. It was the same thing. If it was even getting close to being low, that dog was tapping on it until I filled it. She wanted it full all the way. Real weird with her water. The boys don't drink much water, so they never run out. But Skylar said, sorry if this comes off as brash, but some people just aren't meant to be parents. I am one of them. And would be better off with, and I agree with what you've said, put the kids first. Yeah, I think it should always be with the kids. And yeah, some people shouldn't be, that's for sure. Angel, I am one of them. Angel said, one time some car was following me and I never went straight home because that's creepy. How do you handle in this kind of situation? It creeps me out. I haven't had that happen, like where someone was definitely following me since I was a teenager. I had it happen a couple of times. One of them, I lived in an apartment, so once I went through the gates, he couldn't see where I was. That one was actually really bad. But I had another one who followed me, and it was two men, and they had a toddler in the car. And so you'd think, oh, it's a kid, it's fine. And they kept following me, and they get out, and they bring the toddler out, and they kept showing the toddler. Like, I don't know if they thought that was going to attract a 15-year-old girl. It was weird, or 16. I think it was 16. But they kept, I mean, I was walking home from school and walking down Indian Hill. I was in Claremont, California, if you know where any of that is. But walking down that street and like through, I had to walk through 1, 2, 3, 4. So there were like 4 or 5 turns on the way home once they started following me. And they kept, I mean, it wasn't like, oh, that's a coincidence. I mean, it was really creepy. And I would hid. I waited till they passed, and I ran into the house. I was living with my friend at the time, ran into the house, and I watched through the windows, and they kept driving back and forth and back and forth. You could tell that was creepy, but they couldn't see what house I went into because I waited until they passed when they turned, and then I ran into the house I was going to. So they could get a general idea, but they couldn't pinpoint it. That was scary. God, I was terrified. And that was before cell phones, so I couldn't call for help. That was what, in the early 90s? Let's see. Oops. My Fitbit is not staying where it's supposed to be. Okay. I'm just letting this dry before I do a couple touch-ups, and then we will be done with that and chatting while we're working. Sorry, it jumped really far. There we go. Mercer family said, this is beautiful. Thank you. Jason said, I do the work for parents for room and board. Yeah, that is a good way to do it. That's what my mom, I feel like I forever owe. If she needs any art, like she can have whatever she wants. I permanently owe her for how much she helped us. Veek said, you have great neighbors. I absolutely do, but I want to keep it that way. I don't ever want them to feel like I take advantage of them. Like I do trades for art for sure, but I also I don't want to feel like, I don't want to ask them to do something for me because he's not going to charge me. So then I'm just not going to ask. So I'm like, I want to keep the relationship good, and I don't want them to ever feel like they were taken advantage of. Sneak said, he doesn't want your money, so don't offend him, but paint him something as a gift. And that would be like, we can do a trade. They're going to be having a baby soon, so I'll be helping with their nursery. But until that's set up, it's too easy, I think, when people do trades, unless it's agreed upon, for one party to feel cheated on a trade. And I just don't want to ruin the relationship I have with them, because it's like, I love my neighbors. Linda said, you can't blame kids for watching the best art teacher in the world. Oh, thank you. I've only been painting for 5 months and have learned so much for you. Thanks for being who you are. Thank you, Linda. That is so sweet. NH Chicky said, I hear that. My mother has Munchausen's by proxy, mild, but she is nuts, and she shoved me in the state for half my life. Oh, I am sorry. There's someone in my extended family who did that with she has that, and it was not good for her kids. Luckily, the dad got more heavily involved and kind of put a stop to her. It was bad. Angel said, some people just don't need to procreate. Gosh, the nightmare to the kids. Too many adults now, I just see this so often where they just don't put the kids first. It's like, yeah, but I still need me time. Yes, you do. You need me time, but the kids still, I don't know. And I guess it's easy for me to judge because I don't have kids, but I just feel like if you had them, they always go first. So maybe I feel that way because I feel like that's what my mom did. Like, my mom always put us first. So maybe I'm just biased in that I saw her do that. So I think that's how moms are supposed to be, because I think my mom is perfect. Let's see. Gypsy Heart said, thankfully we had our kids young before my health issues kept it from happening. It did make it worse with all the stress it put my body on. There's no way I could have had young kids now. I don't think I would have ever been able to have them because of my back. My lower back goes out on me. I think the weight of carrying a child would have, before birth and then even after birth, having to lift them, I don't think I could have done it because my back started when I was my late teens. So, because the type of arthritis I have starts very early, I don't think I could have, I don't think my body could have done it. Starving Artist Collective said, my ex-husband was exactly like your dad, completely uninterested in my son until the custody battle, just wanted to punish me. Yeah. And men and women both, I've seen both men and women do that crap to the ex, and it just drives me crazy. It's like, put the kid first. Get over your wanting to hurt how he wanted to hurt you. What a horrible person to do that to the child because they wanted to hurt their ex. Like, it's so bad. Gail said, you can hang a wreath on each window in the front door and spotlight them with a yard spiked floodlight. Yeah, but I like where my lamps are right now. I don't know if it gets windy out here. I don't know if they would stay on the windows. I could. I'm going to have to think through that more because I kind of like that idea. Jason said, when you were in California, did they have the star in window for a safe haven? I saw houses that had that in Iowa. Is that what Iowa is? I'm not sure. I don't know anything about that. It's been, I moved out of California in 2008. I don't know when that started. I'm really not sure. Angel said, deck the halls, fa la la, sing with me, Lisa. I don't sing. You don't want me to sing. Sarah said, I watched a documentary on Munchausen by proxy. It's horrible for the kids, and most people with it are women. The mothers might have Munchausen's by proxy, but it's the kids who suffer from it. Oh, absolutely. And it's hard. They get good. They know, like, I can't go to the same doctor every time because that doctor's going to figure out. So I switch. We doctor hop so I can keep doing it. It's not good. Gypsy Heart said, I hear you there. I wasn't diagnosed with my ankylosing spondylitis till after my last child was born, and being on bed rest with the last two was excruciatingly painful. But now I know it. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. When I was in the hospital, let me do a little bit more detailing before this finishes up. But when I was in the hospital, what was that, 2017? Oh, laying in that bed, my back was so mad at me. That was not a fun time. I mean, it wasn't a fun time anyway, but yeah, ankylosing spondylitis is no fun. Okay, I just want to get a little bit more in the contrast. I don't like how this shadow is right here. I'm going to go over it with white to tone it down. Much better. Yeah, and the touch-up texture titanium white is dry enough now. I can work over that if I need to. Although I kind of like the overdone highlights on it. I think are kind of pretty. Maybe a little bit of lavender. Oh, that's going to be too dark. Heather. Come here, Heather. See how I can use it and I still have that light highlight. It's just not white now. So I can tone that down just a bit. I think I'm going to call that done. So I'm probably going to continue this. I mean, we've got space. Let me move this so you can see where I'm at on this paper. We've got a lot of, I have a lot of space on this paper, so I don't know what it'll be next week, but I think that I'm going to, let's turn that, just keep filling in random stuff. Why waste the paper for these lessons? Like I'll turn it into a cool collage and then probably give that to somebody. So that is it for our little purple flower. It looks a little bit bluish purple for you guys, so hope it's close enough. Contrast looks about right. But that is it. If you have not already, make sure to check out our moderators channels. Nick and Joseph both have great art channels here on YouTube. Links are in the video description. Tell them thank you. They help so much. Let's see. Couple more. Let's see. Jason said in the 80s. What was in the 80s? See, I never know what Jason said. Like I always am not caught up with wherever we are in our conversations. Let's see. Gypsy Heart said, keep filling in with more flowers and make it like a garden piece. Yeah, I could, or like anything. We could put an apple. We could put we can turn it into a whole thing. I think we can make this really cool. NH Chicky said, I love it. My favorite colors, purple and pink. Yay! Fine Art Ann said, I fear carrying the child too and the birth. I have mild septal bulge in my back. Pilates, I can't read. Training has helped a lot, but still I'm thinking of asking for a cesarean section. Oh, I don't know. Hope everything goes well. Well, I mean, it's a good time in history to, we've got good doctors. That's the one thing that I am grateful for. You'll get through it. They'll take care of you. I'm glad this wasn't like 100 years ago where there was not a whole lot of help. Jason said, one of my sisters lives near Lisa and my other sister cooks great, so fire wouldn't work. What are you talking about, Jason? The star in the window. Oh, in the 80s. Funny, because that's when we were dealing with my dad. We didn't know anything about that, so no. But even if we did know about that as being a thing, like in my case, my mom wasn't going to leave my dad until it had to get so bad before she left, because mostly he was abusive to her until I hit about 50. No, he came after me when she was not home when I was 13, and then he did it again when I was, I think, 15, and that was her final, like, I'm done straw. But the trying to strangle her and trying to kill her and beat on her and all of that, like, she'll take it for herself, but she wasn't going to leave because she didn't know what to do financially. So she was in just a really bad position. But once he started in on me, that's when the second time she was like, yeah. I mean, he was verbally abusive all the time, but when the physical was getting increasingly scary, that was what pushed her over the edge. But it's like, even if there was a star on the window, it wouldn't have, she didn't feel she was in a position. Plus, when someone's that abusive as my dad, he had threatened, he's like, I will kill you, I will kill the girls, me and my sister, like, he was going to kill everybody, I will make sure all of that. Like, she was afraid to leave because she knew he would find her, and that was scary for her. Let's see. Gypsy Heart said, zombie snails for what? Zombie snails aren't going to be till I don't know what to do for Thanksgiving zombie snail. Like Christmas, we got that. Zombie snails pulling the sleigh. I like that idea. Or maybe, I don't know, it would have to be a long thing for him to pull a sleigh, because that'd have to be a bigger piece. But that'll probably be a multi-part one, but I don't know for Thanksgiving. Let me know if you've got ideas for Thanksgiving zombie snail. Let's see. Angel said, was the 80s that iconic? Huh? I don't know what you mean. I'm very tired. Ali said, I love the Derwent Light Fast dark pinks and purple range, especially the magenta and nightshade. Oh, yes. Derwent, like, how they went from making color soft pencils to one of my absolute favorite colored pencils is, like, beyond me. But the thing that I like, and this is one of the things that I really respect about Derwent, is they were like, wow, artists don't like this. What are artists looking for? Let's improve. And they're like, wow. Derwent impresses me because they want to make products that artists really want, which makes sense. That's what's going to sell. But I have a lot of respect for Derwent. Bye, Skylar. Bernard Adam said, also, I live in Finland and we have one of the best healthcare, especially the children's hospital. Nice. Vladimir said, even though the Caran d'Ache is opaque and vibrant, I still feel it isn't popping as much as I would like. Honestly, I'm really liking my Derwent Light Fast. They stand up. So with pinks and purples, the Caran d'Ache are more like a grayish tone. They're pretty. There's a place for them, but they don't have the bright pinks like what I really. That's kind of the thing that I always feel is a little bit missing in colored pencils is our light fast bright pinks and purples. And Derwent is as close as I've found yet. The Derwent Light Fast. Their purples are so good. I would still like even brighter than that, but we're getting, we're moving the right direction. Karen said the grapes are so pretty. Just have to try them. Paint them, I mean. Yes. Hold on. Going through the last of these questions. Where are we? Jason said the people could call the police and the documentation would be started for later situations. My neighbors had called the police because my neighbors were there during one of the incidents the last incident with my dad, and he just lied to them. He told them that my mom was crazy, that she flipped out, that nothing happened. The cop was a dick. Man, that cop was. And I'm most of my experiences with cops have been good. Most of them, that one was so like, you're wasting my time with this. We didn't call him because I knew my mom wasn't going to do it, but he really was like but see, my dad had a way of convincing everyone that he was an innocent victim. So maybe, looking back, maybe I can't blame the cop in that case. Maybe, like everybody else, my dad had people so convinced he was the most amazing man, the most loving, caring dad, people believed this because they didn't know what he was doing behind the door, closed doors. My best friend didn't believe me. My best friend growing up, we were best friends from 5th grade all through high school. as adults, he ended up in the newspaper for beating up an elderly couple that he was living with, and because he couldn't take care, he got to the point where he was not really able to take care of himself anymore, and he was too drunk all the time. He was self-medicating, but he beat them up. And when he was in the paper for that, I sent the link to my best from when we were kids, or my best friend is my childhood best friend or whatever. She couldn't believe it because she's like, I thought you were over exaggerating in all those years, that everyone just didn't like their parents or whatever. And I'm like, no, he was abusive. Like, he was a horrible. My teenage years were very hard because of him. And everyone's teenage years, I think, are a bit difficult, but he made things very, very hard. And she didn't even believe me because he had everyone convinced he's this amazing, loving, because what he was in front of people, what he was behind closed doors were very different. So when that cop came, when my neighbors called the cop, he didn't believe. And like, looking back, it's funny because I was saying that, that cop was it, but was it that, or was it that my dad was such a good liar? Because in his case with schizophrenia, he believed his own lies. So of course he's very believable. He believes the crap that is coming out of his own mouth. So yeah, it was not, being documented did not help us at all because the cop believed him. So even though, like, I think it would be different nowadays because a lot of people have phones, they'll whip that out and they can record it. But back then that wasn't a thing. There was no way to prove that he was abusive. So like in the court, when my mom finally left him and going through the custody battle, again, he didn't want us. He wanted to hurt her. But he lied about everything. And it was that the documentation didn't do any good because the cop believed him in this case. Yeah, it was a nightmare. Let's see. Where were we? Zombie snails in the college here. What? I think I missed part of that conversation. Serving Artist Collective said, listening to you speak of your mom's experience with your dad gives me the shivers. My experience was the same. It's very common. It's very, like, a good friend of mine recently, well, it's like a year ago, went through a breakup with somebody, and you could tell early on when the breakup started that this was more like, this guy was following the same pattern. It hadn't gotten to the physical abuse stage, but it had, like, she sent me a text and I was like, oh, that's not good. There's certain patterns that people who have certain abusive tendencies tend to follow. I was like, he's going to say this, and then he's going to flip, and he's going to then flip to, he's going to go back and forth between, I hate you for this. You're a horrible person. I want you to die. And then I'm so sorry. I'll never say that again. I miss you. I love you. He had been cheating on her. And then when you don't fall for it, you don't believe what he's saying, he's going to flip again and go back to, I hate you. I want you to die. And he did. He would flip flop. And she's like, oh my God, you were right. I'm like, yeah, I know the signs on that. And they tend to follow very similar, like people who are abusive tend to follow that same, like, it's a weird back and forth pattern. And watching her go through, she's good now. Everything's good. But watching the back and forth was like, oh, I know what's going to happen. Like, I know exactly what he's going to say because they all say the same thing. It's very, like, scary how similar the abuse pattern tends to be. TK said, will you make some tutorials like you have on YouTube in the near future too? Yes. I've got to do more YouTube. I will be editing a new one on Sunday. It'll go live sometime next week. My goal is to start having a new edited YouTube, the sped up ones every week again. I have been failing on that miserably. I think I got everything in the schedule. Should be good now because a lot of it was the construction going on, made it very, very difficult to record because during the day is when I record, but they were making so much noise. Most of that, they're doing construction. I don't know if you heard it earlier behind me, but where my offices were good. So I should be back to videos every week is my goal. We'll see. Joseph said, a zombie snail with a cornucopia for a shell. Maybe. But the cornucopia, I think, would end up looking, there are snails that have that type of a shell, like that's kind of shaped a little bit different. My, what are they? Seraph snails. They have kind of that shape. I don't know if I could pull that off. I don't know if that would work. Keep up with ideas. We're on to something here. Oh, come back. Where did we just jump to? Jason said, how about a turkey with a zombie snail on the side with a stuffing? Maybe. That's a lot to paint. Simple. We need to think simple. Because the live stream ones, we're limited on time there. Angel said, thank you for this live stream, Lisa. Bye. Take care. Bye, Angel. Gail said, is it safe to use masking fluid around birds? I don't know. I never do because I don't have my birds in the room when I paint. Doesn't it have a really strong smell? My general rule is if something, let's sniff. If anything has a strong smell, I won't use it around the birds. It's kind of my easy way to think about it. Oh, I would not use, oh God. Mine's mostly dried out, and I would not use that around my birds. Once it's dry, like I would apply it in another room maybe, and then when it's dry, the birds can be in the same room with it. So that would probably be my thing. I would not use that around my birds though, like while it's wet. Wow. And I'm high now. Whoa. I did not need my nose that close to smell that. I'm an idiot. Jason said, I need to get the Derwent Light Fast set. Yes, it's amazing. Gypsy Heart said, for Thanksgiving, Zombie Snail rides turkeys. How would I paint that though? Like, again, we've got to think kind of, because of the live stream, unless we do it as a multi-part, like for Christmas. I don't know how many zombie snail turkey, how much we want to drag it out. We need to think about this. Jason said, my ex-wife did the same thing and I got into trouble when I didn't do it. I was the one to call the police and it almost went to court. It was dropped without prejudice. That happens a lot too. I have known of so many women who made claims against men because they know that that's going to be the opposite. And it was weird because I say that usually they'll believe the women, except in my case, they didn't. They believed him, but that's, I think, because he was the one out there first stopping the guy. And maybe the cop was just kind of the type that maybe he's dealt with too many women who were liars and he just assumed they all were. I don't know. But my dad was also, like I said, the best liar in the world. Man, could that man lie. And my sister, one of my sisters is the same, can lie so well that you start to doubt yourself. You're like, wait, I was there for that. That didn't happen. But they're so good at it that you start to question your own sanity. Like, wait, is that what? It's kind of impressive. Let's see. Gypsy Heart said, for Thanksgiving, okay, we got that one. Pioneer hat coat, zombie snail. Maybe the hat would be something simple enough. How can I make sure it looked right? The light is hitting me just right. I am blind right now. Let's see. Angel said, I was talking about the glorification of this toxic abusive relationship. Like, oh, I don't understand the glorification. Like, what was that Shades of Grey? Everyone was all the women were in. I'm like, you've never been in, I don't get the draw. Let's see. Zombie snail with a skull shell, human skull shell. That for Halloween would have worked. We need zombie snail for Thanksgiving is the challenge. Keep throwing out ideas. Vladimir said, Santa Claus, but the guy is a snail and the reindeer are bigger snails. Yeah, I think, was it Joseph or Nick had the idea to make zombie snail Rudolph, his eyes will be bright red, pulling the sleigh. So that is I'm really stupidly excited to paint that. We need something that that good for Thanksgiving. Nick said, zombie snail wearing a pilgrim hat. Yeah, the hat may be the way to go, because I think that's something I could get done quick enough that it would work in as a two-part like we did for this. Finder Ann said, I love your product reviews. Will you be doing any new reviews in the near future? Also, these chat live streams. It's always nice to hear what is going on and you at your animal's life. I don't think I've got any product reviews coming up. Trying to think. It was easier. So when I first started collecting a lot of the art supplies, it was easy to do reviews. And now it's I own all of that. I don't get new ones that often. I do need to get the new portrait set from Karen Dosh. So that would make for a good review. I have a few things that I need to do. Whoop, that just scrolled too far. Jason said, the turkey can be the background, so not defined, and stuffing is more defined. Maybe. That'd be weird to paint. I've never tried. I don't paint food. I guess I paint food. I painted grapes or food. Maybe. I've never painted cooked food. How's that? Lori said, zombie snail needs a friend. Zombie turkey. That would be funny. Gypsy Heart said, cartoon style zombie snails on bones of Thanksgiving turkey left over on a platter. Creepy, but kind of works with the zombie snail. Maybe zombie snail and pumpkin pie? That's an easier food to cook. Turkey and the stuffing seems so, it seems like it would be hard to cook, but maybe I could make that work. I need to think more on these ideas you guys are giving me. Angel said, just draw a turkey study, no zombie, please. No, well, we'll do zombie snail is our new, he will be our holiday snail. So we'll probably have zombie Valentines. We'll have zombie snail is going to be making some returns here for holidays. It is nap time. Vladimir said, you draw a portrait of the pardoned turkey, but you paint the crossbreed half snail, half turkey. You are getting creative. Okay, we are 317, 318. I need to go to sleep. As you can tell, I am not all here right now. Very tired. Oh, puppies. I will see you guys on Wednesday. We're going to be doing a palette knife painting. So if you're going to follow along, make sure you've got some palette knives. I'm probably going to go maybe on Sunday. I'll go to because I don't know where half my plastic palette knives are. I always preferred when I paint with acrylics with a palette knife, I like the plastic palette knives. I don't know why, they're just my preference. When I paint in oils with a palette knife, I always like the metal ones. Again, can't tell you why, either one will work, but I'm gonna get myself just another, I should have palette knives here. Maybe I do have them here, but we're gonna be doing something, I don't know what it will be yet. I have to find a good reference photo for us, but Wednesday night, 8 p.m., palette knife painting, and I'm going to be using acrylics just because of the time, trying to get it done in 2 hours. And I don't know what we'll be doing yet next. Probably something adding to this. I don't know what we should put in this area for, we have another spot on the other side too. So anyway, I'm guessing I'm just going to stick with colored pencil for this one for next Friday. I will see you then. Let's see, NH Chicky, how about a piece of pumpkin pie and then whipped cream dollop shaped like a zombie snail? That is cute. I think I would just have the zombie snail like eating the pumpkin pie because I will be living vicariously through said zombie snail. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I will see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.